What up, people? This is the Baron Yam program. I am Baron Yam, aka um, aka the Red Pill Baron, and in this live stream today, titled "Skinless Yam Mgtow," game is to be told, not sold. I'm going to be covering a few topics. One of them would be desperation right now. Uh, the second one would be how to avoid dating women who are more trouble than they're worth, and how to get out of the bottom feeder mindset are going to be my topics for today. And I'll try to keep this short so that I can allow time for anyone who has questions or anyone who has anything to relate to what I'm saying to come on to the live stream as well. So, with that being said, part of what I believe I gained in going Mgtow, because I think a lot of people focus on all that Mgtow has lost, and I think it's good to sort of tell people, to warn people, but having no flowchart or being outside the flowchart of what generally happens as a man when you're going into the world is it can be a daunting thing. The only thing that I would urge people to recognize is that what's inside the boxes of the flowchart, especially towards the end, when it comes to relationships in America and the Western world, would be that those outcomes are often much more dark and scary than what exists on the outside. And even though you can't actually predict what you're going to encounter once you leave that flowchart, because nobody really has been able to catalog that kind of stuff, or at least when they put it out, it gets drowned out by this mainstream stuff that we see a lot. For example, if you type in the word Mgtow into the search bar, you get a lot of contrary opinions. And Mgtow in the Wind has talked about this. If you type in red pill to the search bar, in fact, I'm not quite sure what happens exactly, but I have an idea. So let me go and let me just do that real quick to see what happens. Again, it's more the same kind of BS. The 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 puppy brain guy, he's basically on both ends of the manosphere, the red pill side, the Mgtow side. And it's kind of one of those things where the truth often gets obscured by somebody who just is trying to yell louder and yell down and silence somebody and censor somebody. And while I don't, I guess, while I don't condone uh, the use of censorship, I do believe that why people go towards censorship, or why certain platforms go towards censorship, is because they just don't know. I mean, they just don't know how to decipher an argument properly. They don't know how to, they don't know quite, a lot of people don't know quite how to argue something properly. And so they'll use some sort of tactic in order to get by on you. And it really is just a tactic. It's really just an angry projection. It's just an emotional reaction. And if you get past that, there's really no sort of substance to it. So it'd be like you ask them to elaborate on it, and they can't, because even if it sounds like a logical argument or a logical rebuttal, there's nothing but emotions behind it. So I mean, the way that people attach themselves to censorship, it's kind of like they know that they couldn't trust themselves when it came to an actual person speaking, because so far we've seen just a lot of people fall for BS. I mean, the whole mask thing. I still have to wear a mask when I go to work, and it's terrible. So it's like one of those things where I think what in the way that people approach this content now, it's always just posturing, like waiting for someone to mess up, waiting for someone to screw up, waiting to be able to interject yourself into the conversation. And it's kind of like a, a lot of people don't feel as important now, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because the good thing about that, I guess, would be that they don't feel like everyone's watching them all the time. The bad thing about it would be that I guess it makes people more introspective, and it makes them more like a lurker. It makes them more a person that will be more likely to follow somebody or stalk somebody, or just want to insert themselves into something that already exists because they're too lazy to actually go out and make their own way. Something I noticed. And I was watching Amazing Lucas. Shout out to him, by the way. He's a great content creator. He he was gaming, I think, earlier, and then then he had a disagreement disagreement podcast, or a disagreement call-in show. And this person was calling in and talking about Marxism and communism, and how we all should fight against Marxism and communism because it's gonna, or because so many of the leftists that are walking around have a problem with it, or have a agenda, have a motive, to bring about Marxism and communism. And the way that Lucas approached it was to say, okay. And the more that the guy was on, he started to say that, well, the Marxists and the communists, they're going to fail. They're not going to be able to pull enough resources together in order to actually take over the U.S. And Lucas was like, okay. And then all of a sudden he was like, well, yeah, they're being funded by they're Black Lives Matter and Antifa are funded by somebody else, by George Soros, or they're funded by somebody, so they are actually going to have power. And Amazing Lucas is like, okay. And so then all of a sudden this guy on the phone started to be like, so what you're saying is that you don't what you're saying is that you agree with me that Marxism is bad. And what Amazing Lucas was saying was kind of along the lines of, well, what are how are you viewing this? How are you viewing this? Are you viewing this communist Marxist system or situation personally, or are you trying to convince people to see it the way that you're seeing it? And he said, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I don't care if anyone follows what I think. And so it's one of those situations where Lucas was like, okay, so you really don't care about whether or not these communists do anything. And he's like, well, they're not going to succeed. And he was like, well, if you're saying that they're not going to succeed and you don't care if anyone follows you, then you're not afraid of them coming out and doing what you say they're going to do. And he was like, well, no, I don't have any feeling towards it. And so Lucas was saying, well, so what's your point? What's your argument? And then he would say like, well, so you're saying that you're saying that capitalism's right, or you're saying this, you're saying that. And it was funny because what I noticed while watching it, the live stream, was that he wouldn't the person wouldn't realize that when their own argument was said towards them, with all of its flaws, they still wouldn't back down from it. And that's kind of what I feel like is the desperation nowadays, that of things where people don't want to let go of their preconceived notions, especially with people that they're actually physically talking to. I assume that would be the hardest place to actually let your guard down completely, let all the walls down around you because somebody's actually addressing you. It'd be one thing to talk about propaganda in a very critical way, or channel your aggression or to critique that. But when it's somebody else living, breathing in front of you, I think people sort of start to shut down in their mind because it's too hard to actually think for yourself when you're actually having a conversation with someone. So that's something I noticed. Another thing that I noticed was um, in regard to dating and stuff now. Uh, there's a huge pattern, I think, where in women, that women do this too, where they start to like give signals, or they start to push post on their dating profiles, like the things that they want in the relationship, or the things that they are offering, or the things that they believe they should be offered, when it should really be like, what are you bringing to the table, and or what do you and like what exactly do you need that somebody else can provide for you? Because if you want something, you should just go out and get it yourself. You shouldn't have to ask for something that you want. You should have the resources available to actually get it. The problem is people don't want to work towards those, to getting those resources, and they just want to whine and complain until somebody else does it for them. And it's something that I notice is like a huge problem when it comes to dating. And the only solution for me would be to walk away, or if I was dating still, would be to cancel as fast as possible whenever I see something that I don't like. And what's up, Tico? Thanks for coming to the stream. I hope I didn't. I hope you haven't like gotten out of Hammerhand's stream, because his stream's a little bit more popping than mine is right now. Moving on, moving on. The going the going the own way thing. I guess I'll just sum it up like this: like when it comes to dating, when it comes to dating, you should have everything that you should have everything that you want already pretty much set aside for yourself whenever you enter into the dating market. You should never really feel like well, you should never really feel like you're wanting anything, or that you're craving anything when you're in a relationship with somebody. They're the ones that are going to be able to give you that. It kind of gets back to, and then the thing that I think people miss is that because they're focused on technology, all this technology. They're focused on all this social media, and they're focused on, how Tico would say, ass and tits, and they don't see they don't see exactly what they don't really take time to figure out what they need. Because so one time I took this class that was called nonviolent communication, and we got this big flow chart of needs. It turns out there's a lot of needs. There's like a huge spectrum of needs, anywhere from needing to identify with yourself and know yourself, which comes down to free thinkers, and how that could be hard or easy for someone to uh, actually get what they need out of how they view themselves. Because it's like sometimes you got to do stuff that you really don't like about yourself after having done it. You guys know what I'm talking about, like that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to the dating game. And ooh, let me just try to keep up with the chat while I'm doing that. And then it goes all the way around to like other needs of uh comfort and of acceptance, and it has a bunch of needs having to do with other people. And in that class too, we also talked about feelings, and what exactly a feeling is, and what exactly someone means when they say they feel frustrated, or how that might be misconstrued towards somebody who's listening to them, and how to listen and talk in a nonviolent way. Is something that was the subject nature of that class. And I noticed that when I went going to that piece of paper that I still have, um, because I just like to have it around because it's really useful sometimes to when I'm trying to figure out how I actually feel about something. People will be quick to judge, people will be quick to blame, people will be quick to say they want something out of a relationship, say that they're not getting what they want, and meanwhile, back at the ranch, what they really need is has nothing to do with the relationship in the first place. In fact, they never had what they actually needed even before they entered in a relationship too. So it's kind of one of those things where if you go back to paper and you get rid of technology, you get rid of all this stuff. And I mean, I watched the first couple seconds of Renegade Number One's video the other day, and when he said get away from technology, to a certain point, he's right. Like you have to get away from this technology. You have to get away from this social media and these dating apps, and you'll realize that you won't really be you won't really have to be dependent on somebody else as much, because I think that's a huge thing that people don't really understand, is that if they were to do that, they would be much much more better off. If I'm saying that correctly. And what's up, Shinobi One? Shinobi One, I don't know if I have you on Discord. But I was gonna send you the link. No, okay, hold on, I can do it. I can do it real quick. Profile, add, message, paste. So hold on, guys. Hold on, real quick. I'm just gonna send this over to a friend of mine. Boop. And I am back. I just got on, and he popped up in my notification. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So I don't not sure why, but I was in there for some reason. Every time I'm on a Discord, every time I'm on a YouTube stream now, it's like the internet's really messed up, and I have data. There's nothing wrong with my internet connection, but for some reason, every time I'm on somebody's stream, it'll do this buffering thing, and then all of a sudden it'll just go black and start buffering, and then I have to close out of the video and go back to it, and then it's like nothing ever happened. It's really strange. And what's up, America Seville? And you might have to do that, Tigo, because they could have unsubscribed you. What's up, Win? Win was in a very cacophonous area today, or what in his video it was like echoing and everything like that. But I'll get back to the topic then at hand. Which I guess that gets me into how to avoid the bottom feeder mindset. Um, and so the way that you avoid the bottom feeder mindset is you structure your life in a way where you never have to interrogate anybody, be it man, woman, or child, about what you think their motivations or their intentions are, or what kind of games you think they're playing with you. So the way that you do that is you basically set yourself up. Let's talk about dating just for example. So when it comes to dating, you never initiate anything unless you know for a fact that that you have the ability to get out as soon as something becomes wrong, as soon as something goes wrong. So like for me, I've gotten girls' numbers recently, and I have initiated conversations with them. I've also Some of them have also initiated conversations with me. Um, but then I gotta also look at it. You also gotta look at this situation on a case by case basis and not look at everything with rose tinted glasses. So if you initiate a conversation with a girl and then all of a sudden the conversation is not going anywhere, she has gotten basically peeped your game and is just like, no thanks, I don't want any of that. And at that point, you should be able to just move on from it. It shouldn't be something that should hold you back at all. And there really is nothing you can say once you're at that point to get yourself out of that point with that specific woman. So it's kind of like one of those things where you just got to move on. And if she's holy crap, the chat is blowing up. So if she's texting or if she's initiating it with you, you have to be like, well, okay, why? Why is she there trying to date me? What is it that she believes that I have? What has she seen that I have had? Does she know my name? Does she know where I live? Does she know what kind of car I drive? This type of thing. Like so you kind of have to peep her game if she's initiating conversation with you, and you have to pay attention more in order to figure out, okay, um, who is this person to me? Is this person beneath me? Is this person on my level? Is this person above my level where I'm at? It's very rare that that will ever happen because women like to date up. But it's one of those things where you just have to know it, and you just have to. That just has to be a part of your everyday conversations with women, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna make mistakes, but you're gonna have to learn those things that you really, or you're gonna have to learn those things that to look for, or else you'll never be able to get what you actually need out of a relationship. And yo, hopefully you got that link. I will let everybody know when the time is right to come gang up into the stream. Oh, and yeah, no problem. It's what it is. You gotta you gotta take care. You got to give your kid all the attention that he needs. And yeah, Hammerhand was talking about his kid too. It's like, and I totally get what he's saying because it's like when it comes to kids, like people are so impatient and they don't give them time to talk back. Oh god damn it, you guys are crazy. But yeah, I mean they're really impatient with kids, And I think when it comes to parenting, I think that if you guys go to Tico Trent's channel and watch his Red Pill parenting, you'll actually be pretty interested to know that not everybody kind of looks at parenting like it's like just trying to get their kids to, I guess, acquiesce and be all proper and stuff in front of people and maintain appearances and do all this other shit instead of actually engaging their kids, which is something I noticed is a huge problem. Um, back to this shit over here though, because back to this shit over here, and shout out to Casual Bachelor for making that video. Let me try to see if I can figure out what video I'm thinking about of his. Wow. Causal Bachelor. Not Better Bachelor. Penis Rule. Oh, I need to get Penis Rule. Wasn't that one? Why every teenage boy should be a feminist. Look at this guy. Oh yeah. It was the Bulldog Mindset one that he did 6 days ago. But yeah, he made a video entitled "What Red Pill Used to Be," and I like his analysis videos. I've always thought it's awesome to be able to actually hold on. I always thought it was good to do analysis on other people's content. Uh, his other videos, like his walk and talk videos, they don't get as much views, but I think they're just as good. But the point, the thing about his analysis videos is it really gives to highlighting kind of the mindset of people that are just so lazy. They're just so lazy. They're the laziest people on this planet Earth because they want it, or they want everything that they can possibly get out of a person in a relationship, whether it be a woman and wanting all that stuff that he got or that she can get, or if a guy wants all the shit that she can give, which we know is just it's just um, as many different times to go at it, go at that, go like to either bust up inside of that pussy, or bust inside of that mouth, or bust inside of that booty, or do just using just being lazy, dude, just being the laziest, most unimaginative fucking people on this earth. And it's just a shame to me how people can be so lazy that they're and people will say, oh, this is just to like bring in and use an example, but like, oh, if you do reaction videos, you're just basically copying and pasting, or you're basically just doing this and doing that, and you're not actually making anything original. It's like, come, give me a break. Like, at least he's taking the time to take a video that's being promoted way more than any other relevant video in that subject, in that category, and is doing a damn good job at destroying every single point in that person's wheelhouse, which is not fucking hard because that guy's a fucking uncreative, basically bullshitter, bullshit mindset is basically who he is. And so wait, Shinobi wants to comment right here. Parents make the best teachers. Schools are just glorified babysitting areas with other kids. And he's right. He's right. If you need to learn something, it should be from one of your parents, and or from somebody who is kind of like taking that role in your life. And so like so I think what it is like, if they perform well at a certain capacity, they believe that any sort of thing that they get, whether it be through serendipity, basically validates how they act. So they never have to change, they never have to fall out or go down any other beaten path in order to learn anything because they're being brainwashed or they're being like given a bunch of participation trophies just to do that. So they see somebody who's actually creative, like Pence Rule, and they're just haters. They're just straight up haters, and I don't even know if anybody has like thrown direct hate towards Pence Rule or Casual Bachelor channels like his, but it's just bad. It's just bad. And what's up, Amanle? I've been here just falling asleep. I mean, you're always either falling asleep or you're up when no one else is awake. So, thank you for being right here. Glad you are here. AL. Yes. And so now, I mean, you guys have heard from me. And it seems like I've learned all that I can learn from women. So now let's hear some other men's analysis of these situations. I mean, if you guys want to come, if anybody wants to come up onto the panel, I've sent the link, and I will post the link again here, just so everyone can maybe hop in who's listening. So it's one of those things where I know I'm not alone the way I think, but I just want to hear it from somebody else, and maybe the way that I'm approaching the topic, you can critique it. So why is it that certain men and women need this brain, this thing outside of their own thought process and their own life experiences? Um, how exactly do people get so distracted in life that they ignore themselves? They ignore what their own body needs, you know, and craves. Holler at your boy because I I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. And some heifer just sent me a message on Facebook. The hell? But how does that work? Oh yeah, this. Sorry. Hold on. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. So sorry. So the thing doesn't work when I do the thing. So. So yeah. Okay. So I guess meanwhile, If somebody wants to come on, yeah. So I'm looking at Tico's one of Tico's quotes from Facebook. He said, "My beef with third and fourth wave feminism. You want a la carte equality, not actual equality or egalitarianism." And I kind of like gets into what I was saying. So maybe I have him to thank for this, but just kind of like this line of thinking because it's like, what exactly do they need from me? Why should I be hanging around them? But if they don't want to put in any effort, you know. And yeah, I kind of tend to agree with a manly load on this because there's really nothing left of me anymore that's genuine. I mean, I've been indoctrinated so much that if I were to, if I were to actually ask a woman or if a woman were actually to ask me what I'm looking for, I wouldn't know if what I was saying was true to what exactly I need, or if it's just what somebody else said I need. It's like that's how shit is for me in my life. So I'm very apprehensive to dating because I don't know myself. I don't know who I am. A Fabian socialism, I have no idea. If you could elaborate on that, or somehow try to figure out what that is, or tell me what that is. But yeah, it and it's just like it's sad because it's not that like if I go on a date, it's not like I take off my mask in front of the person and they know something's not there. It's like I keep my mask on, but the other person doesn't realize that that we're both masked, that we're both not actually showing each other ourselves. So it's just like with this partner with TikTok. Oh yeah, yeah. And then another topic. So another topic that I could go on would be about the game is to be told, not sold. And so this is that's what this is. That's what this really is. There's nothing that you could pay for that actually is gonna make anything better. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no dating course. There's no kind of there's nothing that you can there's nothing you can actually pay for either with your time or your mentality or anything that's ever gonna make dating the same people that you've been dating any better. It's kind of like one of those things where like I've been saying this whole entire time, we get distracted and we try to solve a problem that isn't there. So it's like if a woman doesn't like you, your decision is to get a car or get a house or get something fancy to wear on your neck or wrist that tries to show her that she made a mistake when in reality she's spot on with why she shouldn't be with you. And I think a lot of men fail to take women's hints on that. And whoa, that's kind of cool. Now Oracle, they do like hotelier stuff, right, and stuff like that. Like I'm pretty sure the software for like making reservations and stuff is from Oracle. And a friend of mine or a partner of mine I used to work with, he like he actually owns stocks in Oracle. So, or unless it's Opera, Oracle versus Opera. Either way, that's kind of crazy. It's like, oh, we won't be. Oh yeah, no, we won't have TikTok anymore. We'll just kind of go under this other company, this umbrella over us, and kind of still be basically doing the exact same stuff. But getting back to it, it does make sense to actually give somebody knowledge for money. And it's something I realized too after going through some some people over in Tico's channel and Tico's wheelhouse and stuff like that, and trying to work out the details of how to actually set up a channel properly. It's funny because I kind of carry that stuff over to this channel, and have a good one. And Kendall went live, so okay, number one respect. See you later, Shinobi One. Have a good one. And I'll kind of tie this up then because this is perfect. This is just perfect. I actually got in 40 minutes. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening. Americus, Tico, in the building, in the house. If you guys are still here, Wind, all you guys are great. I'm gonna wrap this up, and then we can all go and have a really awesome night. Also, yeah, Red Pill Elite. I loved his live stream today. That was cool. Everybody's live streaming. It's live stream central in the manosphere, and fucking, it's great. I love it. I love every moment of it. I love every moment of when I'm chopping it up on other streams with you guys. It's just the best. It's just the best, and it's all free. I don't have to spend anything. Well, I do kind of risk my job, but anybody who is telling you that that they can teach you how to get chicks or anything like that, but you gotta like kowtow to them, or you gotta pay them attention, or you got to pay them money, or you have or there's no way. Everything is on eggshells. Everything's on ice with them. All of this stuff. It's all bullshit, and that's gonna keep you dating the people around you that don't want to date you, instead of going and living your life and eventually attracting that right kind of thing towards you. And it's and then even even so, or even further still, you'll never notice the desperation of people around you if you keep catering to them and you stay within the box that they put you in. Because if you're looking outside of that box at what it is that they actually value, what you're trying to live up to. When you follow the advice of dating coaches and PUAs and all this stuff, you never get to learn exactly what you need and things like that. So you're basically in two different instances. You are failing to acknowledge her nature, and you're assuming that however she's picking you, that you don't have to try any harder than how, as long as you live up to her expectations in the moment. And I notice this all the time working the way I do, because I'm like, dude, it's not that hard to outcompete her. She's hardly doing anything to actually invest in the relationship. So the fact that you're sitting over here acting like you got big old kahunas shows me nothing about the actual work that you put into getting a relationship. If it's all free, if it's all complimentary, if it's all because she likes you and you're the alpha male and you're the alpha dog, then what exactly does that make? How exactly should I view you earning that? And it's kind of like one of those things where they'll blame you, they'll judge you, they will sort of get angry in front of you for no reason, or they'll get animated in front of you for no reason, because you're destroying their ego. You're highlighting that them being engaged in all of that nonsense doesn't add anything to them at all in the long run, and that completely tears apart their narrative and their whole reality. But I'm gonna make it short. I'm gonna wish you guys having a good night, and then Monday, Tuesday we probably pretty much have Relentless, so it's gonna be one of those things. You guys we're gonna have fun. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna shoot the shit. I'm gonna try to get on True Terms mixtape. If it happens, it happens. But you guys have a really good. Oh, and right as I was trying to end it, AD in the house. What's up?
What up, my boy? I just wanted to drop by and
Hey.
just give you a sounding board if you wanted to, expound on any topics or so. I know you're closing the show, so if you want to get off the show, that's also fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been checked out. Like I said, this is Skinless Yam, so you know I got no skin in the game. You know what it is. It's just something that now it's just about telling people what I see because I can't tell people what I'm doing. Um, unless I want to be like True Sherm and do some porn reviews or something. But it's like one of those things where
Well, I mean,
yeah. It's
the
like I
topic,
don't know. I do not know what to say to people now whenever they talk about that. I just do what Win does and just check myself out of it entirely.
I mean, the topics that you bring up are they're relevant and they're pertinent. And when we delve deep into those topics, is actually going to help people out. You know, if they're tuning in and
For sure.
they got an ear to the game, it will help them out. You know, just to hear, to get the real perspective, to get the kind of like boots on the ground type perspective. It will save somebody from having to go through and make a mistake and either lose time, money, or sacrifice some part of their emotional, you know, investment. So that we want to help men out so they could avoid those things.
Definitely. Definitely. And I mean to me, I don't think I'm free from it. I'm just more aware of it now. So it's like it's also a social faux pas to actually highlight the things that we highlight on this live stream in public. So it's kind of like a thing where I need an outlet, and the fact that I can get an outlet, other people notice that. Other people notice, you know, the fact that how much I've been working and how much I've been putting into this. So it basically speaks for itself. But you're totally right when they say male usury is
Absolutely.
a huge problem, and they're all being used. Every single one of them, they're all offering to be used. It's not that women are just like got the slave whip and they're cracking it. Like they don't even need to do that because a lot of men will just submit themselves to this type of torture, and it's sad to see it happen in real time
And they got
in
the
so
game.
many different times.
They got the
Yeah,
game all back, all backwards. Because if you went ahead and spent the rest of your life focusing on yourself and just developing yourself and just making the best decisions you can and just trying to advance and move forward and be the best man you can be, then you contrast that to you're going to sacrifice yourself and you're going to do everything that someone else wants you to do, or whatever society might think of you, or whatever some influential person might think of you, or everyone who has an opinion about you, and you're going to go that route. You compare the results of where you're going to be in 20, 25, 30, 40 years on
yeah,
doing things for yourself. Not saying to be selfish, but just doing things in your own self-interest versus the other side that I just spoke on.
true. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Don't think that thing that they promise on the other side of the fence is going to be just like way better. Like as long as you follow this and you do this right and you come in and you punch in every day, you'll have something to look forward to. And I mean, I had it once. There was a teacher of mine that was like straight up told us about Social Security. She's like, I don't want to be, or I'm probably fucked when it comes to teaching you guys and getting my Social Security. Like, I'm afraid even for that. So the fact that it might be around for you guys is less of a likelihood because there's like so much of that, so much people taking out of the system. What she was saying was it seems like pointless for her to have to have to go through all the trouble when nothing's really guaranteed, nothing's really promised. You can get that stuff taken away from you, and it's more about like women and dating and stuff is how it's pertinent to guys like me because that's really something that we want, that we have to try to like get understand better and comprehend more so we're not as affected by it so personally. It's like what Tico was saying about just trying to make it so that she's not in your house as much as possible. And if she's staying the night, it's even worse. Or if she's bringing stuff over, she's planning on nesting. So
Uh,
she's already basically picked you as a wage slave, which
uh,
is something.
It's
So
horrendous. I mean, Social Security is like a failed pyramid scheme. You know, they need a certain amount of workers working in order to subsidize people that have previously worked that are no longer working. But they've offshored all the production manufacturing base, so they don't have that level of productivity to support that system. But you see, all this comes back to common sense and logic and understanding. And I guess they're just banking on they have a nation of people that just don't know how to analyze things, don't know how to evaluate what they're actually looking at. You know, but Social Security is not going to work if it's like one worker to support 8 retirees. You know, it's not going to work like that.
yeah. Or if the problem, I think about it when it comes to like hardware or software or something, you have like a specialist or somebody who can literally come in and solve a network connectivity issue, which leads to the productivity of all the other workers. So it's like, and that person's contracted out. That person doesn't isn't exactly a part of the organization itself.
Right.
So it's almost like the vulnerabilities in the system literally lead to more vulnerabilities. It's like a domino effect, and you see like a lot of women are now going to shoulder the burden or the fortune or the responsibilities or the job prospects of men who have basically been outcast by society or in some way just have been made unpersoned by this communist like system basically, or like the socialist redistribution. And so I don't necessarily see how dating gets in or plays into that exactly. I mean, from a consumer standpoint, yes, but I actually think that the mainstream is going to be sort of the propaganda is pretty much going to shift to what like Mgtow and the red pill have basically been saying this whole time, because they don't want men to have any sort of sovereignty, any sort of power, and this whole relationships, if they're done right, actually like could potentially be something that I think that like the new system will want to crack down on. So it'll pretty much like force men to alienate themselves and only just go to work and then pay into the system. Otherwise, I think people will start to wake up more. Like the more that they check out of this sort of like flawed system that needs them to be working 24/7 in order to like meet the productivity lines.
I mean, you're absolutely right, but just to like to piggyback off of what you said, I'm trying to remember exactly all the things you brought up. But first of all, we're already divorced. We're already divorced because there's no incentive for for any MGTOW or red pill. We're already divorced from that situation because there's no benefit for us. So
Definitely, you're right.
so even if we have a some kind of emotional desire to want to participate in something, you know, when the reality hits that we get no benefit out of it, we're not going to stay in there.
Yeah, right. It's like you don't. But and then these people, they're like, oh, you need to touch the stove in order to know that it's hot. It's like, no, that's the dumbest thing ever. And I feel like only people who are predisposed to genocidal mindsets actually buy into that kind of thing. So it's funny to hear people actually believe in that in certain situations, and I wonder if they're actually like, people think that I'm joking, but I'm like, you got to be kidding. Whenever I hear people parrot that line that says, "You don't know right from wrong. You can't know what's good for you."
That's a
They're
form of
basically
gaslighting, isn't it?
pretty much, yeah, pretty much it's
It's
gaslighting.
gaslighting you.
Yeah, it's gaslighting and it's narcissistic behavior. It's narcissistic behavior too.
I mean,
It would
obviously,
be, yeah,
we've seen some kind of just basic logic is completely eradicated at this point.
And mocked as well and insulted.
Yeah, it's gone
Yeah.
because I'm listening to Yam and I can't think of anything as a counterpoint to what he's saying. You know, it's no debate. There's no debate here.
Nope. No. You can only elaborate, really.
Yeah,
Your own
Yeah, I
opinion, your
mean,
own perception.
yeah, and I mean like this. That's why that's obvious. That's still a problem to me because it tells me I need to make more of it. I just need to fill this with more content since there's nothing for me in what you guys are saying. So it's like that just shows me that more videos could be made, more of like the message can be spread more, and it can just propagate, and that's all that I really care about. But like the when it what it really comes down to for me is just letting people know that the way that they think things should go, you can always you can always change that. You can always change that, and you can't always change it once you've already made that decision. So I guess just be mindful of that or your situation, and then try to get as much out of it and enjoy it because there's Tico was saying it earlier today. It's like all the money and stuff that you wasted is fine, but you can't get that precious time back that you spent wasting it on this situation that was never good for you in the first place. So yeah. I mean, well, thanks. I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more pushback, but I'm actually happy that I have you guys here on my as a sounding board. I mean, what do you guys think though about that what I said earlier? Like, do you think MGTOW tenants are going to be not only like a or not a choice but a mandatory thing in the future?
I think everything trends towards MGTOW. I mean, already nobody wants an American wife. Period. If they're looking for a wife, they're looking for a wife elsewhere. Uh, I'm not shaming anyone who gets a wife. I'm not saying it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that whatever you get yourself into, understand what you're getting into, and always prioritize yourself and make the best decision for yourself. Now, women, they offer certain things. They offer childbearing. If they have domestic skills, then they can function in the house and provide value
Right. I
in the
forgot that. I
right.
forgot that. I actually forgot that.
Right. These things are actually like in the Bible, certain scriptures you can pull from. It tells you like what's the role of a woman, what's the origins of a woman, and all this and that. Feminism is the antithesis to all that. So if you start seeing any signs of feminism and all that, then you gotta separate yourself from that because that's just gonna be like
It's not holy or it's not godly. It just basically is flat out. It's an antithesis to anything like highly structured or
right,
written down. It sounds like it came from a higher power. It's purely of this world, and it's purely to make to ensue chaos. I mean, like Black Pill Radio, he called it the harlot. Like he actually used
yeah.
a quote from Revelations, and that's what feminism is. It's something that perverts everything into what you see today.
Feminism is a branch of Satanism. Basically, Satanism is going to lead towards depopulation. Satanism says you can do as thou wilt, like whatever you feel like you want to do. If it feels good, then you go ahead and do it. Okay, now if you're following the scriptures, there's multiple scriptures a person can pull. When I get on live chats, I throw down scriptures all the time, but I think one of them is like
Yeah.
First Corinthians 11:3, and it tells you the proper order, and basically that order involves man being the head of the woman. So as soon as you start messing around with the roles and the order and this, then you're just promoting chaos and disorder, which is a topic, of red pill and MGTOW and the manosphere. Women are chaos. Okay. You want to bring that tornado into your life? I hope you understand what it is. And then I hope you have an exit strategy to get out of it. Because if you get involved, too much into a relationship with the wrong person,
Mhm.
you have to pay an exit fee. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
I think you got to ask yourself as well, does that woman complement you, your skills and your personality? Because it's all right getting with a woman and then just being with a woman, but what does she actually offer? That is the
Right.
key question.
Right.
Does she give you the skills that you need so you can carry out the other skills, or is she trying to do the same thing as you?
Right.
You got to ask you these things because, like you see these Amish people, and they don't get the same situations that we're all getting. Feminism's hardly ever there. I mean, it is there; it's everywhere. But You look at these these preppers that are already married up or not married up; they're just in partners,
Right.
and they behave completely different to Western women.
Right.
Completely different. So you got to ask yourself, what do they offer? What's their knowledge set? What's their interests? Deep at heart, not because, in my opinion, most men get with women because of their own, because the man's own interest, because what they want. But
Mhm.
you've also the don't bear in mind what the woman wants,
Yeah,
and
to be
that's
honest, it's like a watering, or it's like a river. It's like somebody being drawn to a river, right?
yeah,
It's a scarcity mindset. So it makes you think that you need to be here as a woman, right? In this dating pool of guys who pretty much, I guess you could say, at the bottom of the barrel, or people who are not. And I'm not trying to say high value, low value. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're talking about context, like the kind of men that she feels like she needs to attach to, like driftwood, in order to make it down the river so she can get off on this other stop. Not realizing that the reason why you're brought there, the reason why you're you're not able to actually function in the river without someone to float on is because you shouldn't be there. You never should be there in the first place. And it's like kind of one of those things where there's kind of like is he saying that? Well, Tico, wow, damn, Tico throwing shade. Damn, Tico
Yeah, he wants to do a debate, but let's just flow with the conversation for now.
throwing shade. But yeah, there's certain reasons why. I think it's kind of like there's just like a bullshit river that people feel like they need to keep up with, or that women need to think they need to keep up with in order to be, palatable for the next guy. Because it's all just a vicious cycle when you get into certain spaces, and nothing is long term. So it's kind of like one of those things where she may compliment her, or he may compliment her, but she doesn't compliment him.
That's right. Well, that's where you have
Yeah.
to be scrupulous, and when you assess who this person is. Now, Manley said you need to ask her, like, does she fit this, this, and this? But I don't think you have to ask her, because asking is what a woman will do to you. She'll ask you a
yeah,
hundred. She'll ask you 100 questions because she wants to profile you. But you have to watch her. You have to watch what she does.
yeah. Because what she says and what she does are two different things.
Yeah, and that's another red pill. It's like she'll tell you what you want. She'll size you up. She'll emotionally map you. She'll run the chameleon game on you. Okay, and you think you're dealing with someone who's completely different. She's wearing a mask and she's got you fooled. But you have to be able to assess her without even asking her the questions. But you have to be able to assess her by how she behaves, who she hangs around with, what is her family background. I mean, you have to evaluate her character. Like when she tells you something, is she lying to you or is she telling you the truth? Is she consistent? Is she mentally stable? All those things. It's just too many things to even get into. It's so many things you have to keep your eye on that is very cumbersome and tiring to really get
Hmm.
into it. But if you
Hmm.
want it, then that's what you have to do.
Pretty much. Yeah, you can't ride the fence when it comes to that. And I think as a Mgtow red pill, we actually are just trying to. Anytime we get passionate, we're just like we're pointing at the people who are riding the fence, or pointing at the people who are not able to make the decision at one way or another, and they're kind of like in two different sides. They either want to try, they're trying too hard to get something that they like can't, they shouldn't want in the first place, or they want the highest thing, but they're not willing to put in the effort. And so I don't know. It's kind of like being thrown in that situation. It's hard to not see who you are on the outside of it, and actually make a proper change in the right direction, or in a direction. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's just like you feel like you're in limbo, because you got
Yeah,
so many people telling you all this different information, conflicting information, and you gotta have to figure it out for yourself.
exactly. It's like, how can you tell someone else is not wearing a mask if you're unsure what you look like without a mask? So,
Mhm.
what's the
Mhm.
difference? How can you tell?
Yeah, I can't. Well, yeah. I
The
mean, I
difference,
mean,
the,
it's one thing. It's one thing to like go around and just be all like. That's what I think is really. That's what I think is really upsetting about the left. is they're just always trying to deconstruct things and talk against what's already been established. So it's like they're
No.
wasting breath on something that's already successful, and then you have people on the right who are wasting breath on something that's bound to fail. So it's like who should I be listening to that likes to talk on end for certain things? Everybody's pretty much wrong, or everybody has no idea what's going on.
Well,
So it's kind of
I'm gonna
like
be
just tune out.
let me say something here. Like, from my understanding, if you look, I like to look at the history. If you look at history,
Mhm.
that of technology.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were talking about something the about technology. Well, if you look for the longest, up until the 1980s, you had you had to be chained to a wall with a rotary phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely did you have any. Could people afford touch tones, right?
Right.
Now, with the current technological boom, where things are advancing every 3 to 6 months,
Right.
do you think somebody from the 1920s is going to be able to keep up, even though like, from how slow technology advanced after World War II and in between World War II and the 1980s? It was stagnant for the longest. So people,
Fuck Tico. Tico just dumb. As soon as he said that too, Win just dropped out. But it's kind of like one of those things where it's kind of like one of those things where, and when I talk about technology, I'm not talking about like what elder monks got going on or what anybody in the masters got going on. Like when it comes to, I'm talking about like just specifically social media and the ability to, I guess, like hex yourself with a bunch of hashtags and filters
Mm-hmm.
and basically lying about yourself on social media.
And swipe left and right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That thing too. Yeah, the choice,
Hmm.
like the choices that we have due to the technology is more because it's like if you just do one thing only when it comes to technology, like that's one thing because that's what you used it for. That's like what that's how you think about it. You don't have any wiggle room, and I think that's what Win was trying to get to. Is back in the day, people had actually understood why they did something before they did it, as opposed to now. It's kind of
Uh,
like one of the things where people just running with. Yeah, go ahead. What you gonna say?
well, a lot of couples,
uh,
like my grandmother, they like before all this technology, they used to have to work with each other, and during the world wars, they actually survived with each other, so they knew the nitty gritty of survival and the bottom of people's personalities, and you tend to find people like that stayed together and they died together,
right,
just like my grandparents.
right, and it's like they would like to people my grandparents' age would not be able to comprehend the technological advancements.
Yeah,
And
correct.
part of me think that is like because it didn't advance for so long is the reason why they were able why they got stuck in a malaise and they just basically kind of went into their own corner, you know,
You could
because
kind of
they were
also say when that it didn't advance past the 1950s because all like there's nothing like so let's say that there is just there's cave paintings and then you go all the way through then there's like a stage and then that stage then you put a camera in front of that stage and that's a screen and then you put that screen you make 100 different iterations of that screen. There's been nothing past that that's actually changed the way that we actually absorb that type of information, that visual information. So
right.
there's been nothing. We've literally made no progress in that area since
Only
the
thing we've
since
done
the
only thing
screen
we've
has
done
been
is
made.
we have changed our shackles from the wall. We've literally shackled ourselves to our
Mm-hmm.
technology. What I'm trying to say is like
Yeah.
I mean, what I was saying, what I was trying to say is like, put yourself in an older person's perspective. You know, you're getting older. You ain't seen. I mean, you've been stuck with like the same technology. You're used to the same boom tube television,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden flat screens, smart TVs, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that causes a human being overwhelmed. That's overwhelming. That's being an overwhelm of technology. You know, that's an overwhelming advancement of technology, which makes people withdraw within themselves. You know,
Mm. It's
Agreed.
like it's they had a better life. They had a better life because they actually had
yeah,
to
they
develop
actually had to get off their ass and talk to somebody.
right, right, exactly.
You can also see what type of person that it was easier to judge the type of
Right.
person by how far
Uh-huh.
they're willing to go for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like
Wow.
nowadays, I mean, to be honest with you, the technology has made it too too flipping easy
You're
for a
right.
lot of
You're
people.
right. Yeah.
I grew up
They don't want to put in effort, and then
right.
when they see how much a guy actually is uh simping for them, even though they know in their heart they're red pill, they don't deserve it. That is what makes them feel like they actually have accomplished something when they just sat and they had it come to them like it was it was like a la carte.
Right.
It
It's
was
like
just
the thing is that in a way it has made it easier for men and women, more so women, not so much men, but it made it a little easier because now you don't have as much choice in the fingers as a finger at your fingertips, but as a woman you have a lot of choices.
And,
You
and
know,
it's sort of made men all start acting the same to get the women, because the women have had the choice of what they want, what the society told them they want, or they call them the chads. And
yeah,
so most men have started being an image of the Chad, and so it's
right,
made more men like that. And now because they've
a
realised
lot
that's
of
not,
men like that.
yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of
exactly.
men like that, like in my area in town.
They don't
And
have
well,
the problem with
yeah,
those men. They don't
yeah.
have a personality of their own
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
They did away with their own personality
Hmm.
just for the poon. You know,
Yeah, and then
Ju-
the sort of enter
Hmm.
the red pill market because they're realising that's not even working anymore.
Right. Yeah, just like everything what you see now
Yeah,
with people who have gotten the most people who gotten the
bullshit
most
synthetic.
traction. Yeah, people who gotten the most traction in talking about the red pill
Yeah,
have got pretty much reap what they sow
right.
in terms of their viewership. It's like
Let me
now they're
break this
stuck.
to you. When I talked about Mgtow, I knew full well what I was gonna get. I knew I wasn't gonna get subscribers. I knew I wasn't gonna get a play button. No way in hell. My channel's too dirty. You know, I started out as a gaming channel. Now, if I would have as soon as I got back from the freaking deployment, kept at the gaming channel, I'd have 1 million subscribers by now, long before now. But
Well, I always say, and I know no one's listening to what I'm saying, but I always say that the smaller channels are the best ones.
agreed.
agreed,
Well, this is gonna. I think this is gonna be good because this has been the gaming. This has been a lot of very dynamic, and then we can all sit back and relax and listen to Tico's educational
right?
content on his channel.
Right, and it's like Tico just gives it to you raw. Oh, and Tico,
Hmm.
about me fighting like a girl. No, I fight like a fucking barbarian. I do anything to fucking win. I will literally take the change out of my pocket and throw it in somebody's face. I will throw
Brilliant.
grass, gravel, anything. I will do anything to win.
I saw this guy who's like he's like really aesthetic, like the muscle in terms of the veins and the musculature and stuff. But
I'm
it
hitting them in the
almost like
balls.
I feel like I could push him over. It was one of those things where it's like he wasn't too tall. He was about like maybe like hover like 5'11" or 6 or something. But he just had
Look,
the jet. He just had the build. Like he was like super lean. But if I felt like you could just push him over because he kept wobbling
no.
back and forth.
Was he drunk?
It was one of the funniest things ever.
Was he
I don't know.
drunk?
I think he was no. I think he was like I don't know. No. He was fine, but he just had this weird confidence thing or something.
Swag. That's swag bullshit.
Yeah. It's like what he would what Amanley would say because it's like it's like they're I witnessed it a lot where I come from where
That's because
it's like the people who really like Trump, who wear all the Trump stuff. The young guys. I'm not talking about older people who have a reason to who have like, but I'm talking about the people who are like distracted, the distracted people.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be distracted. You're gonna get a lot of these swag fucking bad.
Yeah, I mean it's a fad. It seems more classical Americana, but it's a fad. Like it's kind of like people wearing
The
bell
thing
bottoms.
is, they're like
I don't know. It's like super. Wait, your channel can't spell dirty.
but for me, it's more along the lines of they're trying to bring back some of these kids, some of these younger people are trying to bring back an era that is gone, that is a bygone era.
Yeah, I mean they're not. They'd be really bad at. You couldn't say that they're like age racist agenda. Like they're
Let me
the
bring
new.
this to you.
I would really highly doubt that.
I mean, there's somebody said on the channel said there's no race, there's no age, the only division is fucking 19, the 19th Amendment. You know, that's the only division. The only real division is the 19 is there are views on the 19th Amendment.
So
I bet you Americans DeVille and Unmanly Load have a different viewpoint on the 19th Amendment.
Well, I'm British, so I have no opinion. I actually don't know it, to be honest.
Well,
we should repeal it. Repeal the 19th Amendment.
And my views are a little different, but I can understand why you believe it. Mm-hmm. But my views are a little different. I said, you know what? Where I see it, I say keep it. Let them destroy themselves. Either they will destroy themselves, or they'll figure it out. Because they will realize, or not, that their selection has gotten slimmer, and their children will then realize the selection has gotten thinner, and
we got Unfair Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
And Mgtow, what's up? Yeah,
or they will destroy themselves. It doesn't matter to me because it's not my. At this point, they can do whatever they want. At this point, they have the thing. They have whatever they want, and you know what? Okay, I'm gonna let them destroy themselves. So the way I see it is like, and on top of that, the backlash. The backlash from repealing the 19th Amendment is not going to be in our favor because they still have alimony and child support laws.
Well, I think okay. Here's my problem. I think that America votes very well with itself right now, but I would think that in that time it was a different kind of climate. Like you have more people like. It was actually more of a division. Whereas, like, I feel like right now, certain places in America, they all move pretty uniformly with one another, you could say. Like, it's like, of course, you have occasional problems, but to me, I think it's like, it's hard to use that bill or that constitution or that amendment, because I got a problem with a few of the amendments. Well, to define the American people, if that makes sense.
I mean,
right now.
Yeah, what I worry about is the backlash from doing something. Like we like men have been facing the backlash from the 19th Amendment, and in a small way, and later on, women are facing the backlash. Because of those decisions on how they voted. Now,
I disagree on that whole entire thing you just said, man.
all right.
I disagree
About the
too.
voting thing.
I
On the
disagree
voting
with
thing.
voting. Yeah.
On the whole entire voting thing, because at the end of the day,
So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter because I've stated this multiple times in my video about the whole entire voting thing. If you take away their voting rights, there's not going to be very much of a fight. Who's going to fight for them? They're not going to do it themselves. They usually employ men to do this shit. But if you take away their voting rights, nobody's going to fight for them.
A vassal.
There's going to be
there's going to be
all there's going to be is a bunch of white knights that's wrong. But at the end of the day, they're pretty much going to capitulate to the same thing. Because at the end of the day, a lot of men tend to capitulate to like what the fuck is going on by our government. Because a lot of men actually fall under the guise of them's the rules. You see what I'm saying? So if we take away their voting rights, it'll be them's the rules in the story. Or as Amazing Lucas.
That's who we live around now. We don't live around people who are going to actually say for a fact, like if we get rid of this, that means it's done. Let's move on. Because the way that we see it happening, everybody just reacts very emotionally to it.
They're not going to fight it. I mean, and the sad part about that, even the men that are for them aren't going to fight it either. Because look, I mean, think about that. Look at the men that are for them. Do you really see them putting up an actual fight?
Not really.
Do you really see them niggas taking up an arms? Do you really see them taking up arms to remotely try some shit? Like, think about that. My point exactly. So if you take away the women's rights, it's pretty much null and void, and it's pretty much a done deal. Because after that, you could pretty much peel back all the other shit that we got going on. That's some bullshit for all intents and purposes. The sad part about that is you don't even have to take away their rights to do it. You could just basically be like, look, we're not doing this bullshit no more. This is unethical. This is immoral. You basically just put your foot down. Like I said, most women, the sad part about women is, this is the thing that people always like overlook when it comes to women. Women will follow a strong lead. Women will follow a strong lead. So if a man says, you know what, fuck it. We're not doing this abortion shit no more. We're not doing this shit no more. We ain't doing this shit no more. This shit is gone too. Fuck this shit over here. Get this shit out of here. Women are basically going to just sit there like, well, that's all they're going to do. They're going to look like big ass kids. That's basically what they're going to sound like. And that's typically how that's going to work.
I still disagree, man, because I disagree. I'm not disagreeing with you, like what in terms of what our goals are, but I disagree with the fact that I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? I don't think voting fucking matters. I think the electoral college is controlled by a cabal of evil motherfuckers, and they want to push feminism and destruction and usurping a male authority to push their agenda of making us beta. Men are beta bitches. Women out here hoeing the top with the guys they want to hoe with, and it just fucks up whole society up. And women, even my mom, I had an abortion when I was a teenager. Women out here having all these fucking abortions, and niggas run up in there, these simps running these hoes raw and having all these fucking abortions, and then hoes know they dating 10 motherfuckers. That's why you go on a date, the hoe might like, I might fuck you, I might not. I'm gonna go. Maybe next time you buy me dinner, I might fuck you. And so then, so that's what we run around usurping male authority. And this is the opposite of what our ancestors wanted. The pharaohs, they ran the shit. Ancient Arabic kings run the shit. But we're running around like bitches. And then the cabal of evil motherfuckers are making what laws of one the fuck to be. You can vote for Donald Trump or fucking Biden. Both the motherfuckers are down with them Illuminati Baphomet boys. And y'all believe what y'all want to believe. But that's my opinion. Ran over. Okay, y'all can talk.
The sad part about that is I actually said it doesn't matter if you take away the laws or not. If you just put your foot down, period. Either way, if they're gone or there. If you leave the 19th Amendment or you take it away, if you put your foot down, it's pretty much over. Right. All you got to say is like this shit's not necessary. We're taking away this. Like I said, you just basically say, look, we're not doing this because it's immoral. We're not doing this because it's wrong. We're not doing this because it injures people. We're not doing this because you basically say shit that actually appeals to them emotionally.
I like what Armchair said.
Because they can't think.
Get stuffed.
Yeah, basically that's what it is.
That's how it is.
That's pretty much all it really is. Basically, that's what you have to do with women. Shit sucks, get stuffed, basically. The sad part about that is women basically listen to emotion. Basically, explain it to them and basically use trigger words like, that's immoral. That's dangerous for human beings. What if something happens to this child? what if something happens to this woman? Basically, use trigger words just like that. It's basically like back in the day when they needed to pass a law in the United States. They would go, "We're going to pass this no alcohol law, or we're going to pass this no cocaine law because niggas will get high and rape your women." Now, everybody voted for that shit, but before that, everybody was for, no, we're not going to vote for that. Minute you bring up a scare tactic with niggas and basically like that, getting high and raping women, then all of a sudden now we want to change the law. Okay, yeah, we all agree on this shit now. That's simply all you have to do. You basically have to scare them and strike fear and drag up emotion for all intents and purposes, and it's pretty much a wrap.
Wow.
Well, yeah, and but also they want to usurp. They want to use the female to usurp male authority. Think about it. There's abortion clinic in every fucking ghetto. They're fucking making social distance a thing where men. Now, I'm saying that I don't want to ever have kids, but they want to limit the population of Earth because they said that in the Georgia Guidestones. So they want to reduce the amount of fucking people dating. The simps out there are dating less, even though they're simps. And then the Mgtows, I'm still going to fuck bitches, but I know these bitches are evil. And then when I'm like 40 or 35 or so, 35, I'm 29 now, but when I'm 35, I get, I don't want to say fuck these bitches. I'll just fuck a blow-up doll. I'll just do that. But hey, these bitches out here crazy. I know there's a sick ass American society. Bitches walk around with these fucking hot pants and shit on, and then mad when niggas that don't let supermodels look at them. Like fuck these bitches. They stupid, and then you stupid bitches wasting niggas' time. You take them on a date, you Dr. Phil a bitch, and you waste your fucking time.
Now they got the mask on too.
We gotta get him on a fucking panel.
They can pull some tricks. I mean, it's not November yet.
What Discord is he in?
Women are here with the mask.
They're Armchair, what Discord you in?
The what now? And
what Discord?
Oh, I'm in a lot of Discords, man.
I'm in.
Where did you Shinobi ones? Armchair. We talked in the
Yo, we got to get him on a fucking panel.
Armchair's in Roseblades or Genesis.
Okay, we got to get him on a fucking panel because he just,
Yeah.
Fuck.
He's definitely table flip material.
Yeah,
or Friday Night Blaze material, definitely.
I completely agree with Armchair. I mean, the only way to stop this shit is completely deconstruct society right down to its bare bones and start again.
But yeah.
It's the only way to do that.
Armchair. It was actually Austria Dick server where we.
Austria Dick. Yeah, I've been in server.
I gotta get me about an hour of sleep because I gotta get this here load over to my next destination, and it's only 4 hours away, and doesn't have to get there till 7. So I'm gonna give y'all my outro. I'm gonna do the original. My first one, if I can remember it. This is Mgtow to win. Bear and Yam. Make sure you plant your roots in nutrient-rich soil.
It's actually not your first one. It's actually your second one.
Second one.
Well, we'll run with this.
Bring back one of the classics. Keep your roots well watered in nutrient soil, and your leaves get ample sunlight. A manly load. Just keep dropping them fucking loads.
I'll try.
And don't forget to slap them with a banana every once in a while.
Too right, man. Too right.
Eternal status. Just don't hurt people too badly. And if somebody falls on their ass while walking on a trail, and I'm not there to see it,
laugh at them.
Laugh at them for me.
Laugh at them and step over the body.
In Armchair, all you got to do is sit there and watch from your armchair. Get you a beer, a sandwich, and a cigarette. If you smoke,
I smoke.
and just sit there and watch these motherfuckers trip, because they're going to all trip.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
And we're gonna mix it up a bit. And the Cartel Princess's friend, Ola Buttercups.
Oh, come on. Don't do that shit on here, dude. You're not
right? You want to get Brian Young beat up, too.
Really hurt.
All right, this is Mgtow to win with my little psychotic rant at the end of the show. Signing off. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
See you, Mgtow win.
See you later. But yeah, anything can be anyone can be full, and then Tico just dropped out. Exactly. Okay, nice. But yeah, anyone can be. I guess to sum that whole thing up, anybody can kind of do the whole conspiracy thing, and be kind of like too woke by it. So I mean, I respect what Armchair had to say about it too. I'm more just like, I think people are dumb, so I don't think they're able to actually carry over from generation to generation.
You said something there, Barrett, because
I think the masses are dumb. I think there's a cabal.
No, I know, but you said, you're saying cabal. The cabal makes like a dent, barely makes a dent though in like their whole karmic debt thing, their whole little thing that they got going on, that where they're
but no, they carried it on. They carried it on for at least for the founding of America and beyond. So they've done it for a long time, and they pretend like, oh, we rebelled against you rebelled against England, and that fucking mattered, and not that we're secretly paying the Queen taxes any fucking way, but so it's like, and they're paying Israel tax money too. So it's like they've gone on. These evil cabal of Jesuit and Jewish motherfuckers are going on. That's not racist, but I'm not talking about the average. I've dated Jewish girls. I'm not talking about the low-level Jewish people. I'm talking about the elite and elite Jesuit and elite, and Jews are Central European anyway. I'm saying the elite motherfuckers. They have an agenda and they want to usurp male. And Jews also have a matriarchal system anyway. So
as you said before, the pharaonic bloodline.
Yeah, no, it's nothing to do. The pharaonic bloodline actually went to Alexander. Yeah, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, and the black kings of Egypt were exiled or either killed or banished. So then you had the Greeks ruling Egypt any fucking way. So they totally messed up society, introduced homosexuality, introduced basically, and then they were so anti-woman that eventually that's why feminism is so strong now, because they were oppressed. The Greeks did oppress women because they were basically.
There's that thing, right? There's a unique part of that history where the Amen or whoever it was, Akhman said there was only one God.
Yeah, that was the guy. They viewed him as a usurper because he tried to force everyone to believe in one sun god, which was dumb.
Welcome back.
What's up?
Oh, sorry, Pharaonic. Bye. That's what we're talking about right there. Because I get what you're saying. It's almost like they definitely rule things, and then I'll fast forward in the future, you have all of these like meat sack automatons that basically don't actually have the ability to connect to the Akashic records or whatever.
You said it right.
Hey man, and I don't know if it's the same bloodlines for them ruling, but there's definitely an elite cabal to build it with the examples of that we know about from our lying media, Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Grove. Those are little conclaves of them meeting where they're somewhat almost exposed, because those are the elite little motherfuckers. And I don't know if they're, some people say, I think they're just elite, evil, Jesuit, Jewish evil motherfuckers that are hoarding power and knowledge, and they have a knowledge differential over the public. And also, they will, like you said, they'll appeal to emotion. They'll say, "Oh, a mass shooter went out here and shot a bunch of people. We need to ban guns." Or, we need to make rape laws tougher because this nigga went into a bitch by force or whatever. So they're just totally doing the whole Hegelian dialectic, and just using some whether stage or real, whatever the fuck happened, using that to progress their evil agenda to put us into fucking slavery. I'm not like a David Icke where I believe they're fucking lizards or anything. I think they would just eat. Maybe anything's possible, but I don't have any evidence to support that. But what I do know is that they're just evil motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck about their race, but they're just evil motherfuckers that are pushing this feminism, pushing this whole Donald Trump is somehow going to come and save you when the motherfucker hasn't done shit other than make a good few speeches or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's not really done anything for men, and not really done anything for any goddamn body except his little Baphomet boy Jesuit buddies and shit. What has he done for men?
Actually, what you talking about Trump? You talking about as far as Trump?
Yeah, I mean, even Trump. I know he's your boy, but the motherfucker has really looked at it. Has the motherfucker really done anything for men?
Not really. Yeah,
Trump has been under the microscope for the past.
Yeah, he actually lowered black unemployment since the slavery days.
He lowered unemployment.
Black unemployment of all things. It's been
the
lowest.
How do you know that
it's been the lowest since slavery days.
How do you know that they're just not letting the expanding economy and just the fucking cabal are just letting motherfuckers get a job when employment's fucked up in my cities I see. Or I mean back in
it's messed up. It's messed up in your city now because of COVID, but before COVID, it was the lowest. Unemployment for black people was the lowest it's ever been in history.
It was lower. It was lower than ever.
I think you're ascribing something positive to the man when he's not really done any fucking thing.
Well, it's under his administration. They always ascribe like bullshit under everybody else's administration. Or like my favorite is we blame Obama for something that Bush did or a law that Bush put into place. Then we blame Trump for something that Obama did. Then like a good example of that is immigration thing. Like if you actually look at immigration the way it is. Obama actually deported more immigrants than any other sitting president, like all the last sitting presidents put together. Like, it is what it is, but we want to talk about, Trump putting kids in detention. We want to talk about this, but the sad part about this, we want to talk about Trump putting kids in detention centers when, in fact, Obama was doing it, only it wasn't public while he was doing it.
Right. Trump just has bad press about it. But I'm saying you're still not missing the point of the whole saying, there's an old maxim, no matter who you vote for, the government still gets in office. So it doesn't even fucking matter. Obama was just a little pretty boy front man for the fucking
Democrats.
The cabal, not the fucking Democrats. They're all friends behind the scenes. They're all fucking Trump is friends with Obama, and Obama's friends with Clinton, and Clinton's friends with Trump. They're all fucking, and Trump is probably fucking Hillary behind the scenes, and y'all think that he's against it. And he's probably been fucking her the stock shit out of her, probably. So anyway,
he fucked the starch out of her pants. That's why she don't wear pantsuits no more.
Yeah, that might be the case. Because Trump is a motherfucker.
He probably gave her some work. He probably gave a lot of people.
Trump is still probably fucking, and he's like almost 80 years old. So Trump is motherfucker. Trump, and he even played that went on comedy shows and played that whole I'm the womanizer. Rich guy. He went on a show one time with Dennis Leary. It's a fictional show, but he walked in there, kissed a woman's hand, and said, "Yo, come with me." He said something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. He said he always plays that motherfucker like that. You know what I'm saying? That womanizing motherfucker like that. But anyway, yeah, man, Trump is just that. He's likable. He's funny. But that's the whole problem. That he's a charismatic. It's almost like I'm not religious about in the traditional sense. I kind of believe in the Egyptian gods essentially, but I'm saying he's kind of from the Christian biblical terms. There's no thing like concept that is in ancient Egypt. So I'll just use a Christian example. He's like kind of like the Antichrist because the whole legend of the Antichrist is he's a charismatic, likable person that lures you into evil government and evil corruption by being likable.
Yeah. And the problem I have with that is he's just too normal of a person to be the Antichrist.
He's not a normal person. He's a malignant narcissist.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that people that follow him are.
He even said that he's Batman. He's born rich. He's not a normal person because a normal person has to worry about bills and how they're going to afford to go to school, how they're going to afford this and that, how they're going to afford all this. He has born rich with a rich father that gave him a small loan of $1 million. So
more than a small loan of $1 million, though. But we're
I'm saying he's a liar from that front.
Yeah.
The motherfucker inherited a fucking empire like Batman, from his evil bald motherfucking dad. So I'm saying the motherfucker is basically like if Dan Bilzerian was a little richer and ran for office. I mean, Dan Bilzerian is just a pretty boy version of Donald Trump, where he's just womanizing pretty boy he's just Donald Trump was a pretty boy when he was younger too. You look at his early 80s video, he has a nice hair, nice hair. He's more charismatic even back in them days. So he knew he's going to be president. I think the cabal picked him to be president all the way back in them days. So he knew that
he seemed like hella woke for that time period too.
This is why I can't be a billionaire and run for president, because I'd be like fucking Tony Stark.
I'll be like, let's blow shit up.
You could do that.
Tony Stark.
Or like you'd be like Homelander.
If he brings some, that
you'll end up like JFK.
Tech Knight, from the boys, Tech Knight or Iron Man. Iron Man's shit. I love Iron Man. Batman's all like dark and depressed. He's all bad about his parents. Iron Man is that nigga that he out there. He's like, my parents are dead, and that sucks. But he out
well,
there.
It's funny, because it's the perfect example.
I love Iron Man though, because
Iron Man actually is like he takes responsibility.
Yeah, but
I love Iron Man. Yeah,
I love Iron Man because he's like he finally settled because it's a blue pill movie. He has to settle down with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Pepper Potts, right in the movie. But before that, he was fucking these bitches to sleep. And I love that about Iron Man. He just wants to party, get drunk, and fuck. And in the comics, it gets dark because he actually, it's not funny in the comic. He just actually has a serious problem. But in the movies, they make it funny, and he's just fucking these bitches to sleep. And he's like, I'll save the world passively, but I just save the world so I can fuck more bitches. That's why he saved the fucking world.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is his mode. That is his mode. Even in the new one, there's Pepper Potts. There's still that chick who's a representation, and it's like he's not really chatty kind of a guy. He got kidnapped. Like he wasn't the one that was. Chad would usually like die gloriously, or he would come back a war hero and get all the hero poon. But Iron Man kind of like he improved himself to the point where it's just 10 bitches.
Well, he's a rich boy he's a rich boy that truly is a genius. I mean, he can sit there and talk with Bruce Banner about the quantum entanglement,
like
and
fucking molecular, exactly.
Field, while he's going to go on YouPorn, and then he's going to go and fuck a bitch, go get a bitch to fuck. If it wasn't before he got married, he's going to fuck a random bitch. I read a report.
Or maybe we might have been able to see the iteration where he actually makes like an Iron Man doll, like an iron doll or something with just like crazy spinnery Rooney thing. Like,
well, no, not even incel shit. He can fuck real bitches. Like he gonna fuck real bitches. Like because he's fucking Iron Man. He's fucking Tony Stark.
What do you say to Captain America? Genius, billionaire, playboy.
I guess he could just, if anybody says, it's like if anybody talks shit.
Genius, billionaire, playboy.
Batman's pretending to be the playboy. Iron Man is
the playboy.
Yeah,
damn right he is.
He loves fucking these bitches. He loves fucking these bitches. He loves drinking. He's my nigga. He's the nigga.
Oh wait, I forgot one. He's a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I
forgot about the philanthropist part. Iron
Man bed sheets. I love Iron Man so much. I got little bed sheets. I get my mattress my bed sheets are Iron Man themed. That's how much I love Iron Man. I'm really about that. He's my nigga.
Yeah, for real. I like that. I like it too.
I love the fact that he saved the world, but he's about fucking these bitches and drinking and smoking and doing what the fuck he want to do because he's that nigga.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a rich nigga get rich. He's like, yeah, a whole lot of fucking going on now.
True.
Yeah, so it's like, but but back to the whole point of if you became president, bro. If you say this became president, your ass get shot because you would try to do some pro-man shit or some shit like that and be like, hell no, nigga. And you end up like JFK. No. They be put a bullet in your ass, JFK. Ask JFK.
Not me. Shit, not me. Because I'll have a running partner that will fuck some shit up for real. Hold everybody hostage and shit like that. I'll get somebody from the Middle East that's a suicide bomber as a running partner and shit like that. That way, if they fuck with me, they gotta deal with him.
America's so homophobic, so good looking getting elected.
Right?
His cousin blew the Twin Towers. They'll lie to the motherfucker, even like they're innocent, but they'll just say, "Oh, he's an evil sand nigger." So he's
right. Yeah, right.
Like racist as hell media. So good luck with that one. America's so dumb.
I was just joking. About that. I'm
joking.
My running partner would be somebody. But basically, what I'm trying to say is my running partner would be somebody that would make you think twice about shooting me because you got to deal with that motherfucker next. Basically, is what I'm saying.
He's the road dog. He ain't like fucking Lyndon Johnson, where he actually sets you up to be shot. He would actually be the one to have you not get shot. So,
I wanted to shoot that nigga Tico Trend, but fuck it. he got that running partner that might do something even more crazier than him.
But that's what. But hey, man, bulls are cheap, so they might just shoot both of y'all at the same time. So that means
true, very true.
Well,
the sad part about that, they would have to kill the whole entire cabinet because I'm gonna have some crazy smart motherfuckers on that cabinet. If you fuck with me, if you fuck with any of us, there's going to be people on the cabinet that's probably going to do even more crazier shit. So every time you go on the cabinet, there's going to be even more crazier person in the cabinet. That's a crazy genius.
We're talking about
it's like they say,
man. They can throw RPG. They throw a rocket propelled grenade in your shit, and you're done anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
RPG or a drone strike.
Drone strike, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, drone strike, yeah.
Dead, nigga. They'd be like, fuck your couch, nigga.
Fuck your couch, right? Fuck your couch.
You want to do some pro man shit? You want to end the wars in the Middle East and do some pro man shit and make the divorce rate not a thing no more and make it where bitches got to be in their place and get abortions no more? Oh, hell no, nigga. Boom, drone strike.
No, see, I would do some shit. I would do some shit very subtle, like, make it so women have to apply for the draft, selective draft.
No, you're dead, still dead.
Equality, bitches, equality.
If you don't put a line 100%, they killed JFK over one just to make the dollar back to the gold standard and want to end the Vietnam War. So know you're dead if he just doing some subtle shit like that. You know you're dead if you do some shit where you have to make women accountable and make them have to go sign up for a draft. No.
They wanted equality. I'm just giving it to them.
They gonna equalize your ass. Like you seen Denzel Washington Equalizer, they're gonna equalize that ass. That's
right.
The super assassins are going. Agent 47 coming to your door now.
Right, Agent 47. Right, Agent 47. Right,
Agent 47. Real life Agent 47. The ball motherfucker will come to your shit and fuck you in your brain and shoot you in the head and shoot your whole cabinet up. So then the next day, we need more gun control because the president was assassinated this morning, so we need more guns. And the motherfucker, they got the guns. See what I'm saying? They never say gun control on pops, on soldiers, and on fucking security guards. But it's also random motherfuckers, innocent motherfucker, normal people, they want to take our guns.
They want to take our guns, yeah.
I'm saying, my civilian, and me walking around as a civilian, I can't have a gun. I can have a gun if I'm going to Iraq with their little issue in piece of shit M4. But I'm saying my own fucking artillery, they don't want that shit. So I'm just saying, they want to take your shit away. So they don't give a fuck about us.
Sure enough, they do.
Hey, yeah, but man, voting and masturbation are the same thing. They accomplish nothing. But at least when I get done with my favorite pastime, at least I got something to show for it. You know what I'm saying? I feel really good. And I'll be like, bitches, because I just feel good by myself. See, I'm a bisexual. I love having sex by myself. So I'm like,
I'm bisexual, yeah.
That's
you can come up with any label. It's like great.
I said that to a woman. She asked me what am I? I go, I'm a lesbian. I love women.
Oh, that's funny. I take that from Turtle Monkey. I don't like his politics, but I love that shit right there where he says, we need to fight the feminists by saying I'm a transgender, masculine presenting lesbian. You know what I'm saying?
Masculine presenting trans lesbian woman midget. You also got to put midget.
I'm the world's tallest midget. You know what I'm saying? I'm 5'11". I'm the world's tallest midget. So
yeah, I always tell women I'm a lesbian.
Yeah, you're a masculine presenting transgender.
I'm a cunnilingus.
You're a cunnilingus. You know how to suck. You know how to suck it good. Shit. Oh, if a chick told me I'm a lesbian, I was like, I'm a lesbian too.
I can eat a mean pussy like I can eat a mean steak. Or eat some greens. Let me stop. No.
Do you like women? I like pussy.
I like pussy. Pussy.
That's the bait. That's the hook. The hook.
I'm not here for women. I'm here for pussy. I'm just here what's attached to the women. I don't give a fuck about the rest of y'all.
Yeah, exactly. I want the titty, that ass, and that pussy. That's it. That's all I need.
Pussy. I'm gonna start putting that kid in my videos from here on out.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I gotta come up with an intro. Something about like head duty or something. I gotta make something.
My intro's gonna be. I'm gonna take the Reverend Epps clip.
What's the one with the little black kid? Bye, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna take the Reverend X clip. Y'all know.
Or is it hi, motherfuckers? Is it hi, motherfuckers, or bye, motherfuckers?
Hello,
hello, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna take that Reverend X clip where he says, "I'm God, biatch." That's what my intro goes.
There's one where there's like a little Hispanic kid, and he's like, "You're not my dad." I want to do that. I want to put that as the intro.
I will do that. I will do that.
That'd be fun.
I already put the feminist screaming at the Trump inauguration on my intro. No!
That's funny.
It switches back to me giving her the people's eyebrow, and it switches back to her. No!
What's funny to me about feminists is like they act like they're married. Like they literally let themselves go when they learn about feminism. It's almost like the red pill. How men they kind of just like stop giving a fuck about how.
Well, no, the sad part about that is
get confident.
Well, no, the sad part about that is like men don't stop giving a fuck because the same men that you're talking about don't give a fuck, be at the gym working out. Whereas the women, the feminists, they just let themselves go.
They completely, go to pieces and they dye their hair. They get the pixie cuts. They do so many things that you just sit back and you look at them and you're like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
You stupid.
I try to date pretty bitches. I don't want these fucking lesbian ugly ass bitches. Fuck these bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you tell me you're not married, so it's like you must have been. So I have to assume the worst. If you come to me looking like a freaking like a clown with a bunch of makeup, weird fucking gothic. They dress even though they dress like gothic or something, they still all dress the same. Still all the same. Like there's no sense of uniqueness. I may be reading into that too much, but there's nothing to pick apart because they're all carbon copies of each other.
They're basically all stands, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what did you want to debate me about, or were you trying to debate Wind about the blood or the bills or like the 19th Amendment? Is that what you were talking about?
Well, no, that's what I was talking about. Oh, well, I said I could debate you. I can actually debate you if I really wanted to, but I don't feel like it. Because
I was gonna say you changed your name to Liberal Tico.
I gotta tell. I'm gonna have to change my name to Liberal Tico and actually be a liberal for a hot second, and I don't feel like doing that. That's too much mental gymnastics. I don't feel like undergoing right now. But I could do it, but I don't want to.
Well, it's like what Emily was saying. Like I have this whole entire theory where it's like the way that if you're like conservative, because the way I see like these guys with Trump and they got around like this, they got this girl around. They do act like they act like HUD, or they act like Paul Newman, or they act like they're like kind of like this trailblazer or this rugged individual, but they're like super polished. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's the weirdest juxtaposition. Meanwhile, you have on the left people who are liberal, like you got the soy boys, you got the alternative lifestyle people, you got the climate change, the way that people dress like climate change people. That's how they get chicks, and it's like that both sides they got it completely fucked up. They got the whole game fucked up. Like on the extreme ends, like the people who I could say are carbon copies of one another. It's like the way that they get attention. It's like the conservatives go for this look, the liberals go for this game, this talk the way that they talk, but there's no like incorporation from the other side. Of where you'll see like liberals who are like, oh, now they're like trying to be, they would never try to be like how the people who are the Trump supporters or the people who are on the consider alt-right or people who are conservative, the way they try to look to attract girls, they wouldn't be able to go for that.
Mm-hmm. True.
And he's back. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just, that's why being a libertarian means not dating. Like I know there's some libertarians out there who they got relationships, and that's their thing. But to me, it's like I don't feel like any time or effort should be spent in that direction.
Completely agree.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's just a waste of time.
Any time spent away from your actual hustle or your grind is not worth it. In my eyes.
Even talking about success, even sharing success. That
sharing success
with Well, that could be political. That could be politicized. Like, I'm just saying. I'm probably going to agree with you about to say. I'm just saying.
I'm probably going to agree with you about to say.
Well, I know I'm not going to get a word in edgewise.
Let me put out there before I get destroyed.
Before you start.
Let me put out there before I get destroyed. That's what Buddy said. No, I was going to say.
And there you go. That's
simple as hell. I was going to destroy it. I was really going to say, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you 100% on that, where it's like, it can be turned into political, but the sad part about that, that's that person's perception. It's not your perception. As long as it's not your thing, or you're not pushing a narrative, or you're not pushing a political narrative, that's all that matters. It's typically why I try to avoid, like politics on my channel, or avoid, that's why I try to stay as neutral as humanly possible, so I don't really pick political
topics, issues, patterns.
Try to finish him off.
I don't know.
I don't think there's any political solution. I think people are just wishing they're like operating on the hope theory, but there's no political solution.
Yeah. Politics.
There is not.
That's the way that they date too. So it's like that's the way that they vote.
Yeah.
All
like what Armchair was saying.
Create division. That's all it does. Is create division. We're all in it together.
It's interesting. It's interesting because Trump. I was listening while you guys were talking. My computer froze up, so I was just listening. Armchair Revolutionary was going into the background of the. Let's call it conspiracy theory. I don't call it that.
It's fact.
Yeah, he was going into that.
I call it facts. You call it conspiracy theory. we don't need no 10-4 hots for this shit.
Okay, no.
We all know they're kissing each other's ass. But that's basically like the whole entire China. Yeah. It's basically like the whole entire China America thing. They're fighting in public, but they're kissing each other's ass behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They're sucking each other's dicks. They're sucking each other's dicks behind the scenes.
I don't need that image in my mind, man.
You're welcome.
That's how I do it.
Yeah, they like Trump, even with conspiracies, it's the same thing.
But Trump's been in office for going on 4 years, coming up this November, and he hasn't made tangible improvements in the country. The stuff.
He has. I mean, it's not something that you can actually see, but there's certain people, like my son, that actually sees the improvements of what he made. Because
he won't end central banking. He'll never end.
Well, that's a whole other story. But like, as far as like the small ones that actually affect my children, I'm perfectly fine with those ones. It's as long as my children are protected and I ain't got to worry about them learning some stupid shit, and or my son being Mgtow'd again, I'm perfectly fine with all the changes that he made. Because literally, Betsy DeVos actually passed a law repealing the whole entire Obama thing with the whole entire Title IX thing. This is typically why you see less Title IX cases coming up now, like they used to back in the Obama era. If you notice, you don't hear too many Me Too on campus things anymore, if you notice that. You basically literally have to prove it now. You can't just be like, he did this, and no, you can't do that. Because now you can be sued for slander and you can be liable now.
Yeah, okay. I won't deny that benefit, but the thing I look at is the national debt, the increase in the national debt.
Well, that's always going to go up anyway. That's not going to change, no matter what.
Yeah.
It'll never change.
That's because of the central bank. You need to get out of that instantly, and he won't.
Yeah, the only way to get out of that is unless we pay it all back at one time, or if we decide to let it collapse. That's the only way we're getting out of that.
That's what I worry about with economics. Like, way people look at it, it's like, if the positive numbers are imaginary, that must mean the negative numbers are imaginary too. And this whole debt.
Think of it like this. Think of it like this.
It's kind of just an illusion.
Here's why the United States is actually not in debt, because their black budget is way more than their actual GDP. This is exactly why America is not actually in debt like we actually think they are, because of their black budget. Their black budget is immense. They can pretty much afford, with the black budget, they can afford to colonize all 8 planets, basically. With the black budget. And they can actually smack somebody on the moon if they really wanted to. That's how deep that black budget is. So they can actually afford to get themselves out of this mess if they really wanted to.
Well, the
problem is if they actually do it, then that won't benefit them. That won't benefit them by doing it, because that means every single human being in America won't be in debt anymore, and they won't have to pay anything anymore. And that's the problem.
They could black budget to infinity, but that just promotes the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, well, no, because the actual military-industrial complex, that's actually above the books. That's actually on the books.
Screen. But like what I said with the screen thing, it's like there's been no advancements in that area, but the black budget.
The whole thing is
the black budget. The sad part about the black budget is totally different than the main budget. Like the military spending, that's on top. We see that. We actually see them vote for that shit, and it actually get increased. The black budget, we don't get to see that shit, nor will we ever get to see that shit. Nor do we know how much it is.
Man, it's like owing John Wick money, man. It's like owing Black Dynamite, John Wick, AK-47 money. That's what like China.
Imaginary numbers.
It's like China ain't gonna ever say, "Oh, we're gonna want our money back," or we're gonna cancel trade. It's like hell no, man. So it's like owing a motherfucker that is that bad to the bone. It's like owing the captain of the cartel money. Like, fuck with that nigga. You know, you cut your head off and shoot you AK.
Oh yeah, shit. You think Xi Jinping gonna play nice when you owe his money back? Come on now.
Way.
Xi Jinping is like the triads over there. Come on now, really?
He's like, literally
that's the sad part about that.
He's gonna say, "Fuck them. We don't give a fuck about whatever they."
Because the sad part, this is what will happen. This is what will happen if the United States actually collapses. Here's what it is: the United States is going to collapse. Okay, cool. Now, what's going to happen is the government's going to try to keep its people in order. What's going to actually happen after that, and countermeasure to that, is Russia's going to send the people guns and tanks and ammo, basically to fight their government. Then China's basically going to come in and just drop food for us to eat while we're fighting our own government. That's typically how this shit's going to work
right now. They're going to war with everybody right now.
India, Japan. But the sad part about that is China can actually afford to do that, whereas we can't actually afford to do that shit because we're too busy handing our money out to everybody and anybody under the sun, and we're not saving any money for us. The sad part about that, we actually can't afford to go to war or start another war for all intents and purposes, because it doesn't really benefit us to start another war. Where for China, it's like, fuck it, we might as well do this today. We'll do this tomorrow. We'll take that. Well, no, because the sad part about the thing is though, that's the image that everybody wants you to believe. That's basically like the same thing. That's the same thing where they say, don't go to Central America because it's dangerous, and it's on our top list of most dangerous places. Then you get to Costa Rica, and it's like, what the fuck is the government the U.S. government talking about? That's pretty much the image. It's basically all propaganda when it comes to.
They've been plagued with storms. They're going to war with everybody around the borders. Every single body is going to be conscripted. All the men are going to die off if they go to war. China's going to go to shit soon.
Well, you also got to take consideration too. They have over 1 billion people on their continent. So if a couple men from China dies, it's not really going to affect them. All it's going to do is actually make it even with the women.
Also,
it's like they have like half the world's population.
Number the men now, or till this day?
No. Men actually outnumber women in China. There's more men in China than there is women, but there's still a lot of leftover women in China.
Hey.
So if they kill off a bunch of men, they're still going to have an abundance of men in China. Unlike if they kill off men in America, they're just going to have even less men in America.
Military philosophy.
Exactly. The scarcity.
Military philosophy.
Because men are very scarce in America, but they're abundance in China.
There's a shit ton of dudes.
Because of that whole entire one child rule, and then they started killing off. They started killing off the girls and keeping the boys. So there's like shit ton of men in China versus the amount of women. So what they'll be doing is basically evening it out for themselves. It's simply how it works.
But China, they gotta understand it because women only contribute babies to society. That's it. They don't contribute to society. They kind of know that.
Well, that's what we do. The propaganda that we boot, like our internal. It's almost like America's a business. They have like the external thing, which is like take our money. Yes, we would love to. Blah, blah, blah. But then like the internal stuff is like pregnant women can be later too. It's like it's just that's like
we do we have a whole lot of propaganda, whereas China's a baby making machine. Well, they're not making babies at the same rate, but they're making babies because, like, the sad part about that is what a lot of people don't know about China is, despite the fact that there's very little women in China, there's a huge Euro-Asian, Eastern European Asian market for men and women for all intents and purposes. That typically a lot of the Eastern European women are marrying Chinese men. So it's one of those things where it's like they're going to continue no matter what, how you look at it. It's like the fact that there's more men. That's basically how they fixed it, because there's more women in Russia than there is men in Russia. So typically how they do that is the Eastern Europeans because all the Eastern European countries got more women than men. So they typically just barter with China or an Asian country who has more men than women. So they basically do it that way, and they basically work with each other. And that's pretty much how they do the workaround when it comes down to it.
America,
so that's a huge market.
West Britain and America is so much feminism nonsense. I saw the new James Bond trailer where they got the Spanish actress and the Black British actress are kicking grown men's asses, and it's like getting to the ridiculous point of like, and they don't have. And this is James Bond now. They're not X-Men. They're not X-women.
Yeah, they're not X-women. They're not Avion Flux and shit. Yeah, they're not Alita. They're not Alita Battle Angel and shit. Come on now, we got to keep it more realistic.
Yeah, I can watch Alita Battle Angel and be like, yo, I
can believe that because she's a robot. She's an actual robot. Yeah, like she can actually do some shit like that. Whereas if you see this shit, it's like, come on now, dude. Come on now, really?
Because like a little Spanish chick would get her ass whooped in 5 fucking seconds.
Yeah, the sad part about that, I would be fine with it if they made the fights more realistic. Like I was talking about something in my stream where I was dating this Asian girl whose father is a martial artist, and she's been learning martial arts since she was a kid, and her mother's a martial artist, and she's been learning from both her parents since she was a child. Now I went on to say this. She can actually kick my ass in a fight. She's not doing that crazy shit that you see in Hollywood movies. She's going to do some techniques and have me all balled up and shit like that. It's not going to be me flying across the room all over the place, but it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a ground and pound type thing.
With me, like, no, a female can't even whoop my ass, even if she know all this armbar shit, because your ass would be knocked the fuck. You be trying to grab my arm and shit. I'd punch you in the right hook to the face.
Well, the sad part about that is she's a little quicker than that. So you better be swinging. You better be swinging faster than Bruce Lee if you want to punch her in the face. Trust me.
Oh, I'm quick though. I'm quick. I'm quick, so yeah. But there's a difference between being quick and just being like blinding fast. It's like there's a difference between being quick and blinding fast because I'm very quick. And they proved that even the gays accidentally proved that shit because they had that transgendered guy. He got into the ring with women and they knew martial. You know, they're professional MMA fighters and still got their ass whooped. Man versus woman. No contest.
Well, no, we say that now. We say that now, but there are women that actually can kick a man's ass, and we do know of women that can actually do that. And it's a sad reality. It's like we always talk about how
there's some beta women that can't fight at all, and that will get their ass whooped by a woman. Yeah. Yeah,
and there's some men like a good example. Most of the people that I know can actually take piano wire to a gunfight and walk out with a higher body count than anybody else in a gunfight, or women. Like I know women that can literally take piano wire to a gunfight, and there's like 3 of them. 3 of them are women, and 2 of them are men. So it's one of those things where it's like obviously they have a high amount of training to the point where like either their reflexes are fast as hell, or they're somewhat genetically modified by they're designer babies basically. So it's one of those things where it's like you got to actually take into consideration too, like okay, what the hell did their government do to make them this way? Or what the hell did the government do to them to fuck them up this badly to make them this ridiculously OP? So I do know women that can actually literally take piano wire to a gunfight and walk out with a higher body count. I also know 2 men that can actually do that too. One's from Israel, one's from Russia. Another person's from China. Another person's from South America, and another person's from Great Britain. They can literally take piano wire to a gunfight and walk out with a higher body count without even shooting a shot.
Yeah, but they'd be dead eventually.
Well, no. They're literally trained to do that, and they've actually got videotapes of them actually doing that. And it's like the most ridiculously amazing thing. Like a good example of that. The best way I can describe that to you, I remember way back when about like 4 years ago when I was working for the now known as UEI in Costa Rica, where I was actually I actually trained people in guerrilla warfare. I actually did a demonstration on stage with actual live guns, where I actually prove a point about guns. If you don't have your gun drawn, your ass is dead basically if you're this close to a person. So what happened was I fucked up everybody around me with guns before they can actually pull their gun out and actually discharge it. One person actually shot himself in the foot. Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. It's actually pretty funny.
The 20-foot rule. If you have a blade or a good weapon and like a good melee weapon, you can fuck some shit up at 20. A quick motherfucker in 20 feet of a guy with a gun holstered.
Well, the sad part about that, I didn't use any of those weapons. I basically used my bare hands, and it basically struck people as odd that I was actually able to do this without using an actual weapon. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's one of those things where I was able to manipulate the whole entire situation in my favor because they were so close to me, and they were basically, the thing was, whenever they say go or they hit the buzzer, basically they were supposed to go pull out their gun and actually be able to shoot me in a timely manner before I was able to defend myself against all of them.
Yeah.
Well, we might be able to prove all that real soon.
Yeah. Where the hell did everybody go? Yam fell out his own damn live stream.
No, I'd say if you got to equalize the sides. So if you got the professional piano wire fighter and you got a professional gunfighter, the gunfighter will come out every time because it's equal.
No, because
the skill set's equal.
Well, no, because the sad part about that is these people are trained very proficient in guns, so they know their way around the gun. They know how long it takes to load. They know all the loadout tab and everything like that. So it's one of those things where like I've literally watched them with highly trained people actually literally piano wire people out. Like literally, I literally watched them do it. And I couldn't believe it my damn self.
If you come across the British SAS, they wouldn't even allow that to happen. You'd be dead 20 feet.
Well, yeah, but a lot of them are actually trained to the same level as the British. A lot of them are trained to the same level, or if not beyond the British SAS, is what I'm trying to tell you. These people are trained beyond trained. They're like trained to be ghosts, literally. They're actually trained to be ghosts. So that's the thing about that. Like the British SAS is.
The British SAS.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is though, they're trained even more than a British SAS. Like the Great Britain actually has people that are trained to even be more dangerous than a British SAS. We just know about the British SAS. That's pretty much all we know. You see what I'm saying? So these people are trained to be ghosts, like literally ghosts within. Like a good example of that is I actually watched a woman. I shit you not. She literally entered a room on a camera and exited the room without even walking past the camera. Like this bitch literally just walked in a room we literally see her ass on camera, and she was able to exit the room without even triggering or being seen on camera. Like this is the type of shit this is the type of way that people are trained. This is how ridiculous this training is. Like I would never be that trained. Like I'm pretty trained, but I would never be that trained. That's how ridiculous that shit is. Like the minute you can actually walk in a room on camera and exit the room without even being in front of any cameras, there's something wrong with you. Like you're a fucking ghost, or you're the kukui, as we would call it in Spanish culture. You're the motherfucking kukui.
Sorry, did Armchair somehow drop out, or did he say goodbye? Oh, he must have just left.
He must have fell out like you did, because you fell out at one point too. Because the sad part about these people are trained ridiculously, and the one, like I told you, the one guy's actually from Great Britain. So that lets you know that your government got some other shit going on that you know nothing about. If this motherfucker can walk into,
every single government has.
Yeah, it's like your government got some shit that you must not know about, because obviously this motherfucker's above SAS if he can pull this shit off. Like there's nobody coming close to this guy, unless it's one of those other three, unless it's one of the other four people that can do that.
Our government,
there's nobody coming close.
Does anything about what they're doing? They keep us stupid, and
definitely.
They keep repeating the weather and whatever else.
Yeah, or they'll basically use the Farmer's Almanac and try to predict the weather. They don't even use the Farmer's Almanac no more. They basically just predict the weather and end up being wrong. It's going to rain today. Then the sun's shining. You out there with your umbrella looking stupid and shit. Like the fuck. But yes, it's one of those things where like you have to actually take into consideration that like there are people that are trained beyond your special forces. There's people that make your special forces look like the Boy Scouts, like literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time, because it's like people enter in for training at a different age in the more Western countries. So it's like what you call training and what they call training is two
totally different things. Yeah. Like I said, there's that Russian girl, there's that Israeli girl, and there's that Central American girl, South American girl that can literally bring piano wire to a gunfight. Then you also got the British person. And you also got the where did I say the other one's from? I forgot. Oh shit, it was on the top of my head. I forget where I said the other person was from. But yeah, they literally can walk into shit like it ain't shit. Basically, they literally walk into a gunfight like they're Jill Scott walking to the park after dark. Like literally singing a song, walking to the park after dark. Like, think about that shit. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, you obviously know these motherfuckers is dangerous if they can do this shit and they're not even flinching. Like, think of the SAS with Queen Elizabeth when they actually ran an exercise and she didn't even flinch. That's how trained the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They're trained not to even flinch.
Yeah,
not to react negatively, not to do any of that stuff. And it's like,
I think it was a British agent who was like, he
was shocked by, he was actually shocked by, yeah, he was shocked. Yeah. He was shocked by Queen Elizabeth, her not flinching, and her just sitting there drinking tea, and her assistant was on the ground crying like a little bitch. It's like, what? And she goes, she actually literally said to him, "You're embarrassing me." That's it. She legit said to him, "You're embarrassing me."
So much training.
Yeah, like training. So think of how cold somebody has to be at that level, to operate at that level.
Pretty cold.
With live gun, and the sad part about that is she was actually in her room, the SAS's room, with live gunfire flying around her head, and she didn't even flinch. That takes a high level of training to do. Or it takes a person growing up in a dangerous neighborhood like me not to flinch when it comes to shit like that.
Or, in my opinion, a certain bloodline has a certain type of apathy.
Yeah, because the sad part about that, we couldn't even blame a certain bloodline because I react the same way that she would in the middle of live gunfire. So I'm not a part of her bloodline, so it's obviously got to be, I would say, environmental for me versus bloodline.
Yeah.
Well, it's
obviously the royal bloodline's a different story altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because that's almost like a idea, even like the way that we connect it all physiologically with like how people are born and stuff. Because like we said, like we've seen with feminism, like it doesn't matter how you differentiate yourself as a tribe, as a race, when literally these ideas literally take hold of people with like all this indoctrination and stuff. And like people, it doesn't matter if they're not related, the same like quote unquote bloodline. They still all move as a pack. And
it all starts with childhood trauma, and you name someone who hasn't had that.
Oh,
yeah, but everybody's
childhood trauma.
Yeah, but everybody has a different level of childhood trauma, though.
Yeah.
So everybody's childhood trauma is not going to be equal, or not going to replicate the same outcome for all intents and purposes. So, like a good example of that is African Americans. They hear a gunshot, they're automatically on the ground in the dirt, basically eating dirt. If I hear a gunshot, I'm the only nigga standing up at all the black people in the neighborhood. It's simply how it works.
Subtle things. It's just more subtle things like a single mother who is a fifth or sixth generation American, as opposed to a single mother who's from a third world. It'd be a different upbringing.
Definitely.
With because you're like people with Jamaican, Afro Latino, Hispanic, like they are
Asians even. Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
It's like they have a different ethic, and the sad part about that is like they all produce different outcomes based on their culture. The sad part about what I've noticed about culture is the minute one of your children start leaving the culture, that's when you actually start seeing the beginning of the end of your bloodline for all intents and purposes. And that kid, for all intents and purposes, is typically how it works. Like a good example of that would be like me and my brother. Let's just say if me and my brother are born about the same time. He has a different mom than me. I have a different mom. He was born in March. I was born in February. We're literally born the same year. So my dad was getting it in with two different women at the same time. That's neither here nor there. But let's just say a good example of that is if my brother decided to leave the culture and I decided to keep the culture. Mm-hmm. What you're going to see with my brother's lineage is you're going to see a bunch of lazy ass kids that's not going to be worth anything. It's not going to do anything or don't want to improve their life. And if he has daughters, which we're more inclined to have in my family, they might end up being welfare queens. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like, once we're moved from the generation, and then once they start learning some things, or once they start getting away from culture, the more they're actually going to pick up with American culture. Yeah. They're basically going to pick up American culture, and they're going to end up being welfare queens. Good example of that is my mother. She came from a family that was a hard-working family, but she had a lot of childhood trauma that end up making her like, because my mom's not a condescending prick. She likes things her way, and she's very spoiled. She's one of those it's my way or the highway type people, and she's very spoiled, and she she doesn't like change. So it's one of those things where it's like, either you're going to do it for her or she's going to be mad at you and never talk to you again type thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. So it's one of those things where, like, that childhood trauma along with that attitude actually landed her into the welfare queen category. She hasn't really held a job. She hasn't really held a job since, she hasn't really held a permanent job since, I can't even remember, because my grandma can't even remember the last time she had a permanent job. And that's the sad part about that. She barely went to college. She dropped out of college. She literally wanted to go to Slippery Rock, and she decided that remember, I actually said something about that where I said, she literally called up my grandma and says, I don't want to be here no more. Come pick me up now. My grandma laughed at her and hung up on her and left her at college.
Yeah.
Because that's not how my grandmother raised her children at all.
But she had some standards, right?
My grandmother, mom's side literally has standards. Whatever happened to anything that happened to the children under her, I don't know what the fuck happened. Because them motherfuckers actually got no standards. None of them niggas got standards. And I'm willing to admit that. None of them niggas under my grandmother have any standards. But me. Then there's me. But I don't count because I was raised over there versus over here. So I know personally, had I been raised by my mother, I'd be in even worse off shape than I am now. I'd probably be in prison. Oh, I'd definitely be in prison. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where it's like, had I been raised by my mom and not by my grandparents' dad's side, I'd be a totally different Tico. I probably wouldn't even be making Red Pill content. I'd probably be in jail right now. I'd probably be one of the people.
Sell the game.
I'd literally be selling the game, or I'd probably be out there selling drugs and shit like that, or be out there committing all types and any type of crime I could possibly get my hands on. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's all about environment. Because like I said, if I was raised by my mother, it'd be a totally different story. But the fact that I was raised by my grandmother, I was raised very conservative when it comes to crime. Now, don't get me wrong. When I was younger, I did commit a lot of crime, but I wasn't flashy like these kids in America were about it, sitting riding around in nice cars and shit like that. Like, nigga, you don't even work. How'd you get a Mercedes? Let's keep it 100. Like, you're literally selling yourself down the river when you do stupid shit like that. And it's simply one of those things that if you live in Central South America, you literally learn this shit and you learn what not to do as a criminal. It is what it is. But Black African Americans don't seem to learn that shit, and they want to act like the rappers in a rap video, and they wonder why they're all arrested. They think somebody snitched on them. Meanwhile, no, it's the fact that you bought a Mercedes Benz and you don't even have a job. It's like, they do pay attention to this shit. They do pay attention to this shit. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's definitely environment. When it comes to African Americans, it's all about environment.
Oh yeah,
there's certain things
that Americans don't see. The earthquakes. Like my uncle, he literally saw somebody, like one of his friends, just like fall into the earth and like never come back. Yeah. And it's like one of those things where people are surprised why he does the things that he does. When it's like, and when it regards to dating, you can say some certain, like, part of the childhood trauma, like women or men like project, or inevitably leads to like what they choose or something. But I think that leaves out the Mgtow perspective, where it's like, with Mgtow you can see clearly through that. Like, you're not your childhood trauma. You're not like your mistakes or anything like that. It's like you are what you choose to be.
Yeah, definitely. Or you're not your mom's mistake. You can always improve upon yourself.
Yeah, you can always make better decisions in the future. Like, I think that's why I like what Armchair was saying, because he's like, I can enjoy what I'm doing, but then later down the line, my mind may change, and I might be forced into something different. So I got to be able to accept that.
Yeah, true story.
It's a decent attitude to have, especially it's like, yeah, I'm not saying it is, but it's like you got to have a little bare minimum amount of sanity.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I always say, I might be dangerous now, but who's to say in 20 years, I'm in 20 years, 10 years, I might not be at peak performance like I am now for all intents and purposes. So I actually got to think of ways to actually, negate the fact that I'm going to lose some speed and lose some power in the stuff that I do, or lose some stamina or some strength. So I got to actually be much more smarter about how I handle things based on how I handle things now, for the fact that I'm not going to be as fast anymore. I'm not going to have as much stamina anymore. I'm not going to have the drive or the will or the energy anymore. I'm not going to have the speed. I'm not going to have the strength. I'm not going to have all that stuff for all intents and purposes, because I'm going to be older, and I'm going to be an older gentleman. So therefore, my body's not going to react the same ways it used to react as I am now or when I was younger for all intents and purposes. So I got to make the mental adjustments for the fact that this is typically why I say I do things based on how I feel that day. And I don't mean like feelings. I mean like how my body, if I wake up out of bed and my back hurts, I adjust accordingly so I can actually be able to defend myself based on the pain that I'm actually experiencing. You see what I'm saying? And I don't try to be top flight fighter all the damn time. It's like I just adjust to basically how my body's feeling that day. If I'm limping that day, I adjust to that. If my back hurts, I adjust to that. If I have a headache, I adjust to that. If my arm hurts, I adjust to that. So it's one of those things where I always got to make the mental adjustments so I can always have an out plan to defend myself no matter what's going on around me. So it's one of those things where you always have to adapt. And that's typically what Armchair is saying, basically. But unfortunately, that's one of those things where it's a day-by-day basis for me, where it's one of those things where he's talking about down the line, I may feel this way and I might change my mind. Whereas I basically do this on a daily basis based on how I feel that day. If I roll out of bed and my neck hurts, I'm going to basically pick a style where I can actually defend myself effectively without messing up my neck even more, or causing my neck any more pain. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like you're always going to continuously adapt based on how your body feels. It's like a good example of that is Bruce Lee in one of the movies where he was actually training a student, and he smacked him in the head and says, "Don't think, feel." I don't know what movie that actually was, but he literally smacked him in the head a couple times. Don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it was.
Feel. That's exactly what he kept trying to tell this kid, to teach this kid, basically, because your body's not always going to be there for you. So therefore, you got to adjust to your body accordingly. Like a good example of that, I'm not going to fight the same way if I stretch out in the morning and then go about my merry way. I'm not always going to be stretched out to get into a fight, basically. So I got to adjust to the fact that I might be a step slower, or I might accidentally pull a muscle, or you basically just got to adjust to what you got going on for you at that time. And this is typically why I'm so good at doing what I do, because I can actually mentally and physically adjust to what I'm actually feeling what my body's feeling or going on. And when I say feelings, I mean my body, not how I'm mentally feeling or not how I'm emotionally feeling. I'm talking about my body. Because I can actually fuck something up if I'm angry.
Yeah, I don't know. I get weird looks a lot of times. Like people are scared, like they don't know if I'm gonna do something crazy. But I let them know, like everything's okay. Like you're fine in front of me. But they be like looking at me like, you look like you're about to fuck some shit up.
Yeah, because like a good example of that is if, like when I used to work at the hospital, if I didn't walk in and say what's up, my niggas, to everybody automatically thought something was wrong with me. Everybody thought something was wrong with me. So like it's one of those things where like they probably weren't okay with me saying what's up, my niggas. But the fact of the matter is, the minute I didn't say it, they're all like, "Are you okay today, Tico? Or are you feeling okay? How's the kids? Like, do you need a day off? Or talk to us. We need to know what's going on with you because you're not yourself. That's typically how people treat me when I'm actually not. When I'm not the brash and crazy Tico at work. Basically, it's like, "Are you okay, Tico? Like, are you okay? You feeling okay? Something wrong with the children? Do we need to know something? Like, how can we help you?" Like, they're literally talking to me like there's something wrong with me when there's nothing wrong with me. So it's one of those things where it's like, I understand that about people.
You all right?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Are you sure you're okay? But you don't got to lie to us. We're your coworkers. We want to help you. Like, help us help you type thing. They're literally on some Jerry Maguire type shit. Like, help us help you, Tico. Like, so it's one of those things where like I got to actually be mindful of my surroundings and the people that I'm actually working with, for the fact that if I don't do something a certain way, or if I don't come in a certain way, now they're going to worry about me. And this is typically why I always get away with a lot of shit in public, because I commit known it. And it's one of those things where I always talk about the blessing to being a black person in public is nobody wants to sit next to you on the transport because they're all scared of you. The blessing to being black privilege right there, 101. Yeah. And the sad part about that, the only people that I'll actually ever sit next to me are random ass white women over a certain age that are looking for black dick, basically, and they usually have the same look, the short bob cut.
They're all trolls.
Well, no, I'm talking about these are older women that are actually very professional women, and they have like the short cut. You know the one video that what's his name did on the women when they hit a certain age, they tend to like black men now after a while. Basically, they tend to have that same length haircut, basically. And it's like these are typically the women that sit next to me on the bus. Men don't sit next to me on the bus. Black women don't sit next to me on the bus because they're scared of me. Black dudes don't sit next to me on the bus because they're scared of me. And white dudes don't sit next to me on the bus because they're scared of me. Only people that are actually are brave enough to actually sit next to me are women of that demographic. Like, think about this shit.
I will be thinking about it once I'm getting some sleep. Once I'm getting some sweet sleep tonight. I gotta be up super early.
The bus again.
What? What'd you say?
Start riding the bus again.
Right?
Yeah.
Gotta get back on that bus, baby.
Well, no, because the sad part about that is like I own a car. Even though I own a car, like the only reason why I ride public transport is so I can play video games on my phone or play my Switch. Like that's legit the only reason why I ride the bus. It's more time than my fucking self because I gotta wait for the damn bus and I gotta wait for the long ass ride to my stop, and I get to play video games the whole entire time. And this is typically where I get my video games, so I can upload them to my channel. This is the only place. This is only either that or when I'm traveling. It's the only only time I can actually get video games that I can upload to my channel. And that's the whole truth about me. Like I literally ride public transport just so I can play video games. Y'all can laugh at me if y'all want to, but it's fun as hell.
That's fact. And I think one problem is that people think too much in order to fix. Sorry, Americans, I'll let you go. It's just that you're kind of staticky.
It sounds like he's pulling away from his microphone every time he tries to talk.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marcus. He left us. What?
He got old.
He done left us. He don't love us no more. How dare he? How dare he? How dare he?
I'm brought all the way to StreamYard on Chrome.
I came all the way to StreamYards. I should be halfway around the world.
I should be in incognito mode.
I should be in my bed, but
how dare you?
How dare you? How dare you? That's too funny. I'm gonna actually make that an intro too. They're not went to an intro also. Greta Thunberg. How dare you? Are you talking to Tico Trim like this? They have Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and they got reduced physical distancing now in Philippine transit. So,
really?
Yep. Looks like.
I think the Philippines wasn't hit that hard either, though.
No, they were not. They
weren't hit as hard as everybody else. Brunei, the Philippines, Brunei, and like several other countries weren't hit that hard. A lot of Central American and South American countries weren't hit that hard either.
Well, I just like to say this before I wrap up the show, because we had Armchair in here, and Armchair's a cool guy. But we at the Baron Yam channel promote positive masculinity and a peace, and in places where that might lead to violence, we advocate for a peaceful separation of the parties.
I choked on water when you said that shit.
We at the Baron Yam channel, thank you for taking a piece out of your day for this live stream. Like, comment, and share, and subscribe if you want to learn more about Tico Trend, the terrorizer of live streams. And we'll be on Relentless. We'll be doing all this stuff. It's not really an outro. I'm just saying, keep it going. It's all about being positive. And Armchair, he got into some conspiracy stuff, and he was talking about Donald Trump. And I know everything that he was talking about. Baron Yam channel does
I don't think it was a conspiracy theory. I think it was all facts, but that's just me though.
Straight up.
There was no tinfoil hat needed for the shit he was saying, basically.
Right.
It's just all facts.
Exactly. And I know it'll hurt your feelings, but yeah, here's the disclaimer after the fact. Retcon disclaimer.
Retcon. We at the Tico Trend channel do not retcon this content. We love this content, we marry this content, and we're all about crazy zany shit. Ding. Right, citizens.
That's awesome. Well, I'm the first channel, just like, I'm the first channel to get another channel's disclaimer on its live stream. So there you go. I'm making ground. I'm a hidden figure.
No, actually not. Actually, I think the first disclaimer actually went on. I actually did it on. It was either True Sherm's channel or I did it on Magaman's channel. Magaman's channel. It was either Magnus channel or
of
True
course,
Sherm
of
channel.
course.
I was like, we have to take a Trend channel. Do not support this claims. we have to take a Trend channel. We support and love everybody and want them to do good with themselves and always improve on themselves.
Yes, of course. Yes, we were all improving on each other in this live stream.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a blast. I got to do my live stream in about 15 minutes now. Shit.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping that you were ready after coming on here and doing this.
I don't even know.
Good topic.
Actually, I am ready because it's actually a personal topic, basically. So it's actually a part of my life. So, and you know, it's one of those things where I actually have to do a
deep dive.
A deep dive into it because I actually had to watch the fucking movie.
Well, I actually looked into the show.
Oh, that's right. It's a personal topic. It's about that thing. Yeah, exactly. So, so you know, I came up here just because I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this earlier, but then I forgot I worked, so I had to work.
Yeah, me and Wayne was cussing your ass out. Like how he got a live stream going? His ass ain't started. Would he late? Would he forget? Would he sleep? He was going in on your ass.
So yeah, because I changed it on the StreamYard, and then for some reason it didn't change it over there. So you guys thought that I was streaming at you thought that I had basically scheduled it for an hour ahead of time, but I really had to I had to work, and then I was pretty much ready to do it at a certain time. And I don't know, is Kendall Rican still going? Oh really?
He's done.
His usually lasts long.
No, he only lasts till 2:30, 2:45 mainly. This is typically why I start math at 2:30, 2:45.
Yeah.
I just started late this time because I started late this time on purpose.
Time zone.
Yeah, I started late like this. Yeah, I started late
like this on
purpose.
What is everybody else doing right now? In Manly, what are people doing usually right now?
Is it probably on the way to work or just started?
Yeah, literally he's literally on his way to work right now. What's his name?
Gotcha.
Shinobi one is almost getting up in the next couple hours. If he's not already up. And
yeah, we improved his breakfast over on that one channel.
Yeah, I know, right?
He was like, I had a very nice breakfast now. Oh, that was your channel. It was your channel. You were like, he was like,
was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh shit.
Something we were saying in the comment section. I was going ham. I've been, as Elder Monk would say, I've been double tapping motherfuckers.
Double tapping motherfucker, you're a trip.
Had to be all up in that anus corpus or something.
Anus corpus. Listen to this, man.
Anus corpus. But yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna call it, dudes. It's been great. Okay. I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So
I gotta get ready for my damn live stream now. Damn.
Yeah, but this is the best. This is the best live stream ever. This is awesome. The Skinless Yam Mgtow stream with always providing various
Skinless Yam.
For various. As long as I'm Mgtow, I'll always be a perfectly skinned yam. You know, fresh for the oven. Fresh for the oven. No skin in the game.
Don't worry, he's still streaking.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Here at the Bear Yam channel, we like streaking.
We do like streaking. Anybody can streak. It doesn't matter. But it's like, yeah, I'll always be that. Skinless. Can you
imagine Psyche Soap streaking naked through a cornfield on your channel? That would be fun, dude.
No, he's so funny. And it's like Skinless Yam presents. The Skinless Yam presents.
Psyche Soap in the cornfield, naked.
In the cornfield.
That gonna hurt my balls. Yeah, it's Psyche Soap. Oh,
I miss you guys.
That guy makes me laugh so much.
My balls.
Splinter.
Right.
Yeah,
oh my
but
goodness.
It's yeah, that's one of those things too. Wait, peace out to the panel. All right, yeah. All right. I'm definitely ending it. All
right, then.
Thanks for hosting in the way.
Thanks for hosting it.
Thanks for stopping by.
It was a blessing like always.
Go off and yes, be like if there's another if you're in Tico's live stream or any other live stream, just bring yam. +1 yam.
+1 yam.
Hit the yam emoji in the chat, even if I'm not there. Just hit it.
It's like I'm Darren Spirit.
It's like I'm there. Somebody just summons Yam. Sometimes I'll show up.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah,
does somebody put up the bat signal on the screen? The fuck? The Yam signal?
Okay, no, wait, don't compare me to Batman after that whole entire. We spent like an hour just saying Batman.
Destroying Batman? Destroying Batman?
I will not be Batman. If anybody's like, you kind of like,
destroying Batman.
Strike me as Bruce Wayne. But no, do not call me Batman. Bat Yam.
Bat
Oh
Yam.
my goodness. No. That'll be when I'm trying to be super edgy. If I ever get edgy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was thinking now. I just couldn't pronounce it properly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
He's trying to tap them yams. He's trying to tap that.
No.
He's trying to tap Yammy Tammy over there. Yammy Tammy over there.
No.
With the yams, he got the yams.
Where's Tammy?
No.
Where were the other?
Yeah, man.
Where were the other hypergamous
tapping those yams one lady at a time.
You're not the
going to
hero
hell for this shit.
You're not the hero that the gynocentrism needs. You're the hero that gynocentrism deserves.
Right.
All right.
Shit.
Well, with that, I say peace. Stay red pill. Stay Mgtow. And shout out to not American DeVille. I was gonna say American DeVille. This has been the Bar and Yarn podcast.
Bar Yarn.
Bar and Yarn. He literally thinks this has RN. That's I should be like, bring him into this live stream. Bring him into the Skinless Yam live stream.
I'm working on it.
All right, okay.
He hasn't been in the live stream since last year.
But I'll let you get to your live stream. Manly, have a pleasant day at work. But this has been the Baron Yam, Skinless Yam, and we're out, bitches. See you later.
Bye.
Peace out. Peace out. And Jakey, you better get on this channel too, bitch. All right.
Now you're gonna get roasted tomorrow.